casually got stabbed.
It's a very, very common thing in Scotland. It was actually really bad here for a very long time. It got to the point where if you got caught with a knife, it was 6 months mandatory sentence. Like no ifs, no buts, 6 months. And then the prisons filled up really quickly, and they had to like dial that back.
I have a question.
But yeah, we were the murder capital of Western Europe for
when they say
decades.
no knife, does that apply to shorter knives and multi-tools and stuff? Like
you can be arrested for having a multi-tool. Yeah,
that's insane.
That's really bonkers.
What if you
there was a guy in Aberdeen that got arrested for having a potato peeler. Google it. Like it's the thing is, see if you're fishing or hunting or camping, it's then down to the police officer's discretion. Like,
without moving my chair, I can reach 5 knives and 3 axes.
Well, keep them there, and you won't have any Scottish problems.
You won't have the Scottish authorities breathing.
It's weird to me that they have laws against just like sharpened edges. Like that's
we have them because we don't walk the streets with a blade, and
they don't have a constitution,
right?
I have a multi-tool in my pocket always.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Don't we have like a 3-inch limit on the blade that you can carry?
It's something like I have 3.5 in my head, but I'm low confidence. Yeah,
that's interesting though, because there's constitutional carry of firearms in so many places where you can just strap that bitch on your hip. Does it pertain to swords? Can I throw a katana on my back?
Absolutely, you can. Yeah.
Sure.
The one question I got wrong on my concealed carry was that it enables me to carry knives. It doesn't.
Oh, I thought you could just carry knives like by default.
I'm going by that. You know,
I don't think
or
so.
maybe like special knives, like the ones that they do have limits on, like butterfly knives or those like ones that shoot out. Like I know they have laws about those, right?
Why are butterfly knives like illegal, but you could walk down the street with the big fucking like crocodile Dundee fucking?
It's got to be something from movies where that you know it's something that got legislated because somebody saw something scary in a movie. It has nothing to do with the danger.
I bet you're 100% right.
It totally is. It's the same with switchblades, right? Every bad guy in a movie is like flick. It's like, oh, that's a bad knife. Bad knife.
see the weird thing about it is like, see all these things in Scotland, you can buy them. You can buy them and you can have them in your house. The instant you leave your garden, you're breaking the law.
How do you get it home?
That's true here of a lot of things. So there's a lot of things we sell here as paperweights that are just bludgeoning weapons. And like Amazon's got plenty of them. There's plenty of paperweight brass knuckles or like blackjacks or all sorts of little bludgeoning tools and instruments.
They're all illegal here. See, even like the spring battens, like the police use, totally illegal. Not allowed them. You're not allowed pepper spray. You're not allowed tasers.
A cricket bat.
A cricket bat for playing cricket. Yeah,
of course, that's what it's for.
Yeah, of course. What was it they say? Oh, if you keep a baseball bat in your car, also keep a mitt. You're loyal. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.
And if I'm ever showed up to beat somebody up with a baseball bat, I'm wearing my uniform. I got cleats on.
Meanwhile, you're like 36 years old. You haven't played baseball in 18 years.
It's like that gang for the Warriors.
Hey, come at me.
Doesn't fit right.
I'm wearing that fucking like the whole uniform to court too. It came at me when I was playing ball. What are you playing, sir?
Dude,
irrelevant.
It's my made-up game.
Speaking of weapons, because there's a lot of street violence in Scotland, that's why it was like, oh, that stuff was like horrendously like illegal. You would get immediate time for it. But there was one big fight I was in because, like I said, like youths, we're from here. You're not from here. We don't want you here. And then the fight would start. Well, there was a fight where there was all of us and there was all of them. Everyone always goes like, oh, why are you talking about shit like this on stream? This is Scotland. This is just what people did growing up. Like, fucking, this is just the way things are here. But a guy turned up to a fight with a stepladder, a little stepladder, like a little 3-step stepladder, and we are all laughing at him and pointing at him, going like that. What the fuck? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? And everyone, and then we all charged in at each other. I got knocked out with a stepladder. At least allegedly, I don't remember a fucking thing. I don't remember shit. Like, I just remember, like, sort of waking up, like, after it, and I'm sort of like body jerking around and shit like that, and all my friends are going, fucking hell, man, your head ate that fucking step ladder, man. Like, you got fucked up.
I would love to see a
So,
street gang in Scotland just, like, roll in office chairs.
Various things from the supply cupboard.
People going backwards.
A stapler.
You're eating like chicken legs, like but the bones are slightly sharp.
I do like the idea that they all have staplers, whipping them around like nunchucks,
like
they're the jets, snapping at you, swinging staplers around. You can fuck somebody up with a stapler.
It's just the weapon laws here are just like fucking so strict. Like firearms are just completely gone, like none at all. It's like you get people as well that go, no, you can like get a shotgun and you can get like you can apply for a license, but like to meet the requirements, it's just not possible. The only way that you ever meet the requirements for any type of firearms, like pistols, full ban. Pistols are completely banned. You're not allowed them, full stop. But like you can get like a deer hunting rifle or a shotgun, but the hoops and requirements you have to meet are so strict that like nobody gets it. And in order to get those licenses, you would have to have never even breathed near a police officer in your entire life. Like I got my you see even an air rifle, like a little 2.2 spring loaded like air rifle, you need a license for that as well. And my license got rejected, not for the Nazi pug stuff, not for the fucking fighting or anything like that, but because when I was 17, I was caught drinking in the street. That's so why my license
disallows you forever from owning a hunting rifle
for something that happened like 15 years prior. So not even a hunting rifle, a 2.2 air rifle. This thing would give a deer a slight bruise. Right? It's just.
I mean, I'm pretty sure those are in the toy section in America.
Yeah, if you shot me with that, you would hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
and then Woody would respond with a real weapon. Woody'd be like, "That's neat. Here's my gun." Like,
no, the reason they got banned was this happened in Glasgow. There was firefighters attending like a building that was on fire, and everyone was crowded round to watch. And some dickhead was firing an air rifle at the firefighters, but then he hit like this. He hit like this 2-year-old boy in the head, and the 2-year-old boy ended up dying. And because of that, all air rifles absolutely banned. So basically, there was shit tons of hobbyists like all over Scotland, and it was like a pretty expensive industry. It was pulling in like a few million like every year and everything like that. But now it's completely, utterly shut down because, like I said, the hoops you need to jump through, the requirements, like nobody could fucking meet them. But that was the plan. Like that was the plan, like to take everyone's fucking guns away.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sucks. The knife thing, because they're really useful tools.
Yeah, like I've got a little one I use for fishing and everything as well. But like again, even if I'm fishing and I get caught with that knife, it's down to the officer's discretion.
So I was gonna ask about that. Like, are officers like, well, this guy's clearly fishing. It's a fillet knife.
So some will be complete dicks. There are a lot of our police officers are like, everyone talks about like police officers on power trips in America. Ours are so much worse, and it's a lot to do with the.
It's a lot worse.
What is worse about them?
Police officers in Scotland tend to be Protestants, which is us going back into that whole thing again.
Yeah,
and if you've got an Irish last name, then you might be in a little bit of trouble.
Really? So they find somebody they find an O'Malley, in the middle of the lake. He's more likely to get in trouble than Smith.
They deny that shit happens. They deny it happens, but it fucking happens. It happens.
Huh. Well, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like not being able to have knives is so fucking foreign and bizarre. Because like when you think about a knife, like what list, where in the list when you just think knife, Woody, do you think stabbing someone? It's so low. You think like, when I think it's like, I keep a knife that would be illegal where Dank is right near my front door, and its only purpose is boxes. Purpose is boxes.
Oh my God. Right now, I hardly leave bed because my leg's broken. But normally, I use my knife every day, and it's almost all on Amazon boxes.
Yeah.
It's something.
It's removing such a utility. Like what?
Yeah,
sometimes you need a knife.
The concept of
He's
a
allowed them at
sharpened
home.
edge being illegal. I know, but the concept of a sharpened edge being illegal is so weird. It's like outlawing subtraction. Like what?
Yeah.
No, this is cavemen figured this shit out.
I don't know what the law, I don't know what the laws are there, but I'm guessing that it's illegal for him to have a knife that he doesn't need for work outside his home, right?
Well, you missed what Dank said in that, like, it's up to the cop's discretion. So if you have a
As it should
multi-tool
be.
that you use to pull the hook out of a fish's mouth, if that cop doesn't like you, he can arrest you while you're fishing.
You shouldn't have that. That can kill people, because then what'll happen is there'll be the fucking, all of a sudden there'll be a gang called the Leathermen, and all they'll do is fucking look. If you want to kill somebody with a Leatherman, man, you'll absolutely make it happen. A Leatherman is a sturdier knife than that green piece of shit there.
But what he was saying was that if you go fishing and you have, you know what a fishing knife looks like, probably the audience does too. It's a special fillet thing, and it's clearly a purpose-built fishing knife. It's up to the officer's discretion. If you're in a rowboat in this situation, the officer might be like, "No, I don't think you should have that knife." It's like, clearly this knife has utility for what I'm up to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's gonna be a repercussion for you in the legal system down the road, though, right? You'll get to the court, and the judge will be like, well, was he on a fishing boat? Yeah. Did he have fish? Yeah. Was he cleaning the fish with a knife? Yeah. I think it's a fishing knife, officer.
Yeah, but the thing is, you still get arrested and you still get fucking your knife confiscated and you still have to go to court and all that stuff, and that shit just shouldn't happen.
Cost you money.
It does, though. I mean, I got arrested for like carrying that pistol that time. They're like, your permit doesn't work. And it's like, you say so. I mean, you do have handcuffs.
And you have a gun also.
And did you have a concealed carry?
Oh, yeah. I was 1,000% legal. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were open carrying or something.
I was open carrying, but it doesn't matter in Georgia. Like I have a permit to carry a handgun.
Yeah. In North Carolina, you don't need a permit to open carry unless it's changed. It could be out of date. Concealed, yes, but open, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there wasn't a distinction here at the time. I even made that point. I was like, open carrying is the more kind way to carry. like as far as law is concerned, I'm like, I got it out here for all to see. I'm not hiding a damn thing, because I don't think there's anything wrong with what I'm doing. That's what I'm implying by my actions here.
Sure.
I walked into a Walmart wearing a Ruger, sir. If I was up to no good, I wouldn't have been playing fucking Spyro in the video game section with my cousin. All right.
And you wouldn't have picked a Georgia Walmart, because you're not the only guy there with a Ruger.
We're in Hartwell, Georgia. Okay. Like, my odds of getting out of here are slim.
Yeah. If I start shooting, I'm not making it past, home.
The good old boys in the parking lot are going to slay me. Dude, you go to a southern Walmart parking lot at 11 p.m. at night, there's a crowd of guys out there who will gun you down. It'll be a firing squad. They're all in their jacked up trucks with chew in their mouth, trying to fuck some hillbilly.
Yeah,
and they all got
part
guns.
of their culture and to be respected.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really think about how everyone else had one, but yeah. And in North Carolina, every so often I see someone open carry, but somehow they're able to vibe. I do this all the time, like
especially the old guys.
Yeah, even I saw young ones open carrying recently, and they had this, like, if you have a problem, this is really a you problem. I do this every day vibe about them, and they were like 24, and I was like, okay, I don't know. It wasn't alarming because they didn't seem to give a fuck.
No, I don't mind it at all. And people try to make that a racial issue sometimes. They're like, oh, they're all about gun rights until we want one, and I'm like, I love seeing black people with guns. We want as many, as an ex-gun owner, we want as many black gun owners as we can get. We'd love for you to be part of the fun that is gun ownership. Like they're for defending your rights, and y'all get your rights trampled on more than anybody.
You shouldn't be able to vote unless you own guns.
They've got it. You're close. You're close. I have something similar where I can't vote or own guns. So you move those pieces around.
So we obviously couldn't do it, but like they had asked about using or potentially using, I'm not gonna say like it was a sure thing, but potentially using an AK-50 in John Wick 4.
What's an AK-50?
That was kind of the weapon system I was developing. still developing. One of those things we still have to go home and make the new prototypes. More of like a passion project right now, but like a 50 BMG. Think of like an AK and a Barrett together, right?
Very cool.
And they were wanting to use it. I'm like, I don't fucking have one, unfortunately, but I would love to see that. Like, no matter what scene you're planning in that fucking movie where John Wick is about to go kick ass with a fucking 50 cal, I'm on board as a viewer. I want to see that.
I like when they do a little research and they bring out some cool shit that I'm like, oh, he's got a desert tactical rifle there. Okay, all right, he's not fucking around. He got a little bullpup sniper. All right, cool. I usually like his handgun selection and stuff like that, but I do wish there was some more exotic shit in there because that's the kind of stuff that turns me on. Like if he brought out, I don't even know what he'd do with it, but if he had one of those Anzio Ironworks 20mm rifles.
Oh my god!
You ever shot one of those?
I haven't shot one yet. I've seen them, and I almost shot Richards the one time. We went out on the range, and he.
Oh, does Richard have a 20?
I think so. Well, he had it in the back of his van. I hope it was.
Holy fucking shit! Yeah, I didn't know he had one. They're like 17 grand.
That's not awful.
It's not awful, but it's not.
Well, it's not a concealed carry piece by any means.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like a Barrett M107 is like 14 grand. So I'm like, okay, for a 20, all right.
You can get it for 10. Richard, I could have. They'll sell them to you for 10.
Gotcha.
But in any case, that Anzio Ironworks, for those who don't know, it's a 20mm bolt action rifle. 20mm, I'm pretty sure is what the F-18 fighter jet shoots as its like machine gun round. Like 50 cal is 12.7mm, and we're talking about 20mm and way more powder. Like the whole thing is like way bigger like weapon system.
Yeah, this is enormous. It's 6 feet 8 inches tall.
The different variants are different lengths. I could barely pick the goddamn thing up. You know, it's like 110 pounds, the one I was playing with.
Jesus.
And you know, it's not like a 110-pound barbell. It's a rifle, so it's balanced funny. And
heavy, so you can't just like stand like Call of Duty and just hold it out, you know.
I don't think I attempted that. I like it, but the barrel is super long, like it's above my head when I've got it sitting on its buttstock next to me. And I've shot 2 of them. I shot Anzio's down in Florida. His place burnt up. I don't know if you know that. Like his.
I heard about that.
Yeah, some people broke into his shop, his factory building, whatever you want to call it, and he had. I don't remember the exact amount of. Is it 25 Bradley? Is that the stuff?
I'm not sure.
The stuff it's the Bradley fighting vehicle, whatever it shoots. It's 25mm or something like that. It's like this explosive chain gun shit. Anyway, he had, call it $3 million worth of that in his building. And so they break into his building, probably trying to steal guns or whatever they could lay their hands on. And then they realize they're on candid camera. Well, the DVR that's recording them is in a vault, like not just in a safe, it's in a vault. Yeah. And they just see wires going into like armor. And so they're like, well, guess we burn it to the ground. And so they burnt this place down. And of course, he doesn't have his ammunition insured. So it's like a $3 million loss on that's unrecoverable. And then the building and every gun he owned, all of that's burnt to the ground. So at the time I was working with him, he only had like his show gun, the one he was like taking to SHOT Show. And so we shot that a little bit. But he didn't even have a scope anymore to mount on the thing because I don't think a standard Leopold is going to stand up to the recoil. It's going to fucking shake the bitch apart. So I had to go up to like West Virginia to a guy who actually just had one and was friends with Anzio and shoot his. It was suppressed. And this guy, I don't remember his name, but he was an author. He had written many of the reloading manuals that I was like, I own your manuals. I was like, they're on a bookcase at my dad's house. Like
his name.
We've been using this, huh?
Robert?
Oh, I wouldn't remember this guy's name at this point. West Virginia, mountain dwelling.
Yeah.
Scary guy. You know,
that narrows it down.
Older gunsmith who writes a lot of books.
Yeah, that would describe him pretty well. But I shot his 20 prone, and my shoulder clicked for 2.5 years. Like I've only shot 2 things that actually hurt and kicked hard, and one of them was his 20 shooting it prone because I'm not good at that, and I didn't have my shoulder on it properly, and my shoulder clicked for 2 years legitimately. When I would like just do something like this, it's click 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 click.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
Why'd you do it prone instead of sitting down?
He didn't have a table to put it on. Like we're just in his backyard shooting the thing. And again, it weighs like 100 and something pounds, even more loaded and with a scope on it and everything.
It was something with recoil. It can actually come off the table pretty easily and just fall over.
It's a ton of recoil too. It's a gargantuan fucking gun.
Is it for anti-material stuff like armor piercing?
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a bolt action rifle. It's something that it's just a guy. Like it'd be like if one of us was just like, hey, what if we just made a gigantic bolt action rifle? Well, what bullet would we put in it? Well, what do fighter jets shoot? Let's put that in there.
Like fighter jets shoot.
Yeah, that's literally what
Hellfires. What are you thinking?
like it would.
It don't have to be like registered as a destructive device.
It's a DD. Yeah, and then the other thing that I shot that actually hurt was what's Bob's first name? Dangerous, I think.
Dangerous Bob.
Dangerous Bob. Do you know Dangerous Bob?
I don't. I know people who run into circles, but I have never met him yet.
Yeah, like Ira Sellers and all those guys.
Dangerous Bob.
That's what
Dangerous. Yeah, that's what they call him. You'll notice he's missing a little bit of one of his fingers because he blew it off depriming 50 BMG shells. And whenever I'd mess around with him, it seemed like his favorite shit to play with was explosives and flamethrowers and big bore guns that he'd make himself. And I don't remember exactly what he'd done, but essentially what he had done was take like a 20 gauge single shot breakdown shotgun and make brass for it, and then load up big bore rifle shells for that. So he had I'm making up numbers here because I don't remember the specifics, but let's just say it was shooting a 900 grain bullet, 1,600 feet per second or something like that, and a breakdown shotgun that weighs 2.5, 4 pounds, somewhere in there. This light ass fucking, like chest, like wooden stocked 20 gauge, thing you'd see in a pawn shop somewhere for $100.
Something meant for a quarter of the recoil.
A tenth the recoil. It kicked so fucking hard. Every time I would shoot it, I would like, all right, well, can't flinch on camera. So I have to lean into this motherfucker and squeeze and just take it. And it's the equivalent of like telling some big professional boxer or something to hit you in the chest as hard as they can, but you can't flinch or move. You just gotta be like, all right, do it while I try to look badass. And my shoulder was black and blue.
Hello, my friends. This is pretty intense.
I would lean so far into it, like my front knee would be bent almost to the ground. Like all my weight, 95% of my weight is on my front foot. My back foot is just barely touching the ground, and it would rock me all the way back. It was awful. It was awful to shoot. I think I shot it 5 times.
What video was that?
I don't even know if we used the fucking footage. It was one of those days where we were in Tennessee, messing with a Bofors gun and a flamethrower and some M240 Bravos. Where we shot 5 things in a day, and it was the flamethrower video that I did where I roasted a pig, and the pig had little pipe bombs tied all over it. Oh no, that was the mannequin. It had a mannequin with little pipe bombs all over it, and then I roasted a pig and pretended to eat some of it. Yeah.
Wait, you pretended?
I didn't cook a pig with napalm and then eat the napalm. I just put some ribs that I bought from a barbecue joint on the back of the pig.
You couldn't tell that?
Fourth wall. No,
it's fucking gag.
Fourth wall destroyed.
My childhood.
There are people who still believe he's Russian, so there are absolutely people who thought that he was pulling meat off of a flamethrower.
I mean, I made it look like I was. We had a nice, delicious rack of ribs attached to the back of that roasted pig. But yeah, I wasn't going to eat pig I had cooked with napalm.
Yeah, it's not safe. Probably not.
Going back to the recoil thing, at one point I had, I really only had recoil fuck me up one time. And it was one of our 50 prototypes for the AK-50. Had failed. So, semi-auto guns cycle a lot softer than just single shot guns. It failed, so the bolt seized, and so it basically was a single shot rifle. And I was leaned over. This was entirely my fault. I was leaned over really aggressively because I had the barrel on a 9-board. And it's just resting there. So all the recoil is going to my shoulder. Had no recoil pad or whatever. Just had a PRS style buttstock with plastic on the back. Leaned super forward, and it broke my clavicle. When I fired it. You can see, I still have it in slow motion. You can see in beautiful iPhone slow motion all of the rearward motion, and it broke my clavicle pretty early on, and all of that you're seeing pushing in is past the bone.
Oh
God.
Is it still fucked up? Those clavicle injuries never heal all the way right.
I don't know why they don't fix them.
It wasn't fully off. Like it wasn't a complete fracture. It was just like it was fractured.
Just cracked, so you're okay. Ah, good. Yeah, I see guys with clavicles that they don't put them back. Like so here's the bone, it breaks, and then it heals like a Z, a letter Z.
Yeah, like layer it on
why
top
don't
of
you? Look, I broke my leg. It had a problem. They put a plate on the side of it with screws. It's like an internal splint, and then you just live with that forever. Why don't they do that with clavicles? Why do they let them heal like Z's? They don't do that with legs, arms.
I don't know, but I've always been afraid of that injury.
And it's a really easy bone to. I've said before, a guy I played hockey with took a check at a really bad angle, and it like severed it in two, like broke in half. And I remember being in the locker room. I wasn't playing the game, and like just seeing like as he'd move like the little bits, and he was like green about to vomit. We were maybe like 15 at the time, and like now. Like you see him like with his shirt off, like one shoulder is slightly closer to his center mass than the other. And if he like moves it forward, you can just see, just like what he said, instead of like this, like a straight line and then a block and then a slightly lower clavicle line.
Yikes.
Like it seems like a lazy ass surgery. We should have that figured out.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah, looks awful. What if you broke both of them and you're just all fucked up, all T-Rex armed?
I was gonna say, my luck, they're gonna go in with like a screw and try to do the plate thing and have one like that's just like a cut hair too long, just puncture my fucking carotid artery. It's just like, oh, neat. Now I get it. That's why you don't do that.
I should have just dealt with looking a little silly. I guess you didn't even break yours, so you don't even look silly. You look fine. If I were my buddy who that happened to, I would have been pissed. Like once that healed, I would have been like, what the fuck, man? Like this is. So I'm never going to be the same. Like none of my movements are going to be the same. Muscle memory, everything's different. Like, well, why couldn't you just fix it correctly?
I bet if you were like, maybe if you were a sports, like if you're a professional athlete, like maybe they go in and do it, but maybe it's just not necessary for the average person. I don't know.
What if they give you the option and there's a difference in copay or something, and your parents just said, no, they just don't do that. Just like, there's no solution for this. And you look it up. My parents were fucking cheap.
It's like the Family Guy where they're like, where Joe goes in and they're like, well, Mr. Swanson, we can give you new legs, but unfortunately your insurance doesn't cover it. And he's like, well, what does my insurance cover? And they're like, well, this wheelchair, Mr. Swanson.
Jesus.
What's something when you guys bought your first house? I know I've asked Kyle and Woody, but I want Dick's perspective. What's something that you didn't do that you wish you did, or something that you did that you wish you didn't do? Like just advice for a first-time guy like me.
What's your rape dungeon situation like in this new place? Because that was a big priority for me.
Yeah, I have plenty of room for dungeons.
Okay, that's good. My AC didn't work, but that might be just a SoCal problem. I wish I would have had a guy come out for $100 and looked at it and said, this is completely fucked and it's not even put together correctly, because the inspector who comes out is just trying to inspect the house to make sure it'll sell. And they're not actually looking for what fucks up for you. I think that was the only thing that I regret on mine. Let me try to think. The best part about my house was discovering as I said, the rape dungeon. I army crawled under the house to the other side of the house, and there's like this whole unused room behind the master bedroom that it has a slab. It has 2x4s put all around it. Like all I need to do is knock through the wall and put up some new drywall, and it's like a whole new room in there. Kyle, you're saying no.
Get rid of the door. See, what you want is a room that has no doors. The only way to get into the room is via a hatch in the floor. You have to go down the hatch, crawl under the house, and up through another hatch.
You're dead right.
Which is concealed, of course. You're gonna want tile flooring there. You can make it so that you gotta have you don't want it like fingernail style where you like pull the tile up that way. You need a special tool.
I'm thinking the gym should be above the rape dungeon, right? Because there's more than one way to work out, for starters. Two, you might like a CrossFit situation. And two, you could easily cover the hatch with heavy things, dumbbells.
And it'll scare your prisoner when like the loud clang of the deadlift hits the top of their chamber.
I really like this secret door. I should do a bookshelf or maybe like a fake arcade game that you can crawl through and you got to give a little noise to get in.
I know someone.
It would never work if I had one of those bookshelves that was a secret escape hatch, because I fucking guarantee the first thing that happened when I had people over is like, yeah, there's a kitchen, his living room. Come look at my secret door through the bookshelves, and everyone would be like, all right, well, we know where Taylor is. Like, if shit goes down, like it wouldn't be worthwhile.
I know someone who has a secret hatch. All right, so you go in this person's house, and there is like, it looks like a broom closet, like a cupboard. It's a regular sized door, but it's a very shallow closet, like we've probably all seen in a house somewhere. You know, it looks like it's good enough for a few cleaning supplies on racks and a broom or two. No, the back of that door, the back of that little closet comes away, and it leads downstairs into a gun room.
That's so cool.
It looks like in one of those 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger movies when it's time for him to gear up to go take out the Colombian dictator. Like it looks like that. All right. You go down there and it's a fucking, it's let's just say 150 rifles, 50 handguns. The body armor is hung onto mannequins. There's 3 sets of body armor for each individual that's in the home that's a fighting age male, as the military calls them.
Why would you need 3 sets?
One for each fighting age male.
Oh, I misunderstood. I got the impression there were 9 total.
And the body armor isn't just like like body armor. It's the plate armor, right? That I've shown off in videos before, and a bunch of people have or whatever. But it's got all the magazine carriers on it, and each one is set up for a different firearm rig, right? Like one of them has like MP5 and like Glock magazines all over it, right? Right next to it is the MP5. The other one is set up for like an AR-15. So it's got AR-15 magazines stuffed all over it. The AR-15 is right there next to it. They're all 3 like that, ready to rock and fucking roll.
If I had that, I'd have like a billboard outside my house that said, "I'm out of town." Like just something to try and get it moving.
Oh, the security system at that house is absurd. We were off site at one day. We were several miles away, and his phone did a thing like that sounded like an Amber Alert or something. He's like, "Uh-oh, someone's breached the perimeter." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Get back to the house, boys." And like 2 guys hop in a truck and haul ass to his house, because he's got a lot of valuable things aside from the guns that aren't in a dungeon or whatever. And he's like, I'm like, what are they gonna do if they catch somebody there? He's like, it won't go well for them. And we just sit there for like 15 minutes and waiting to hear back if like a bunch of intruders just got mowed down back at the compound or whatever. It was turned out to be nothing.
Yeah, there's one less raccoon in this world.
Yeah, right. It was something like that. But yeah, wouldn't want to try to invade that guy's little fiefdom over there. It's pretty legit.
I might be alone in this, but as you were describing just how ready he is for the next Chinese, Russian, Cambodian invasion or whatever,
home intruder,
it started to feel a little like
US
cosplay,
invasion.
right?
No. Well, see, he's a famous guy who has a lot of money and gets threats, right? Like this is someone who is preparing for a known threat. You know, it's not like Joe Schmo down the street has an arsenal in his basement with a rocket launcher. It's more like a guy who routinely gets threats from scary people who are like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to come to your house and do X, Y, and Z." It's like, all right, well, I'll prepare for that possible eventuality. I guess I have the money, and it's kind of, you know.
Right, you won me over. I pictured.
You know, it would be cheaper and as effective. Cheaper and as effective of a home defense technique, I think, would just be going to like a Nordstrom rack and buying a bunch of those creepy ass old mannequins that they don't use anymore, and then like do disturbing like eye scratches on them, and then like all the pictures in your house near the entryway, of course, have like your own family. You switch these out every night. It's a time-consuming process, and it's got like your own family, like with the eyes X'd out. There's like dolls with no heads sitting in corners, and so if somebody bursts in and they see 10, oddly placed mannequins around and pictures with eyes scratched out, and like something else random, I don't know, a bolo tie sitting around, like they're not going to want to come in. They're going to leave. I wouldn't rob
like
that
the
place.
Home Alone defense system, like the Michael Jordan.
This is the Home Alone defense system, but it's 100% a bluff.
I know another guy.
At no point will a can of paint swing down and get them. It's just a spook.
I know another guy who is 10 times more wealthy than the previous guy I talked about, maybe more. He's famous amongst like the firearm community. Like if I said his name, a lot of people would know, but like you guys would have no fucking clue. But he owns some firearm companies, plural. And in any case, his home is, first of all, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's a bitch to get to. But once you're there, there's literally this tower that comes up in the middle of his house that's basically a sniper tower. I mean, it looks decorative. It doesn't look like something ridiculous. It doesn't look like Rambo. It's like glassed in, although the glass opens up. And I was like, well, that's not overboard. It looks nice. And I bet if you go up there and drink coffee in the morning, it's a pleasant thing to do. And then I find out that he has all of these diesel generators and all this fuel stored. And that in the basement, he's rigged it up so that he has these HEPA filters that even if there's some sort of chemical attack outside, the air will be purified down there. And I'm like, well, what if you run out of filters? And he's like, oh. And he's got filters for days, these really expensive, massive HEPA filters and he had like massive supplies of ammunition, like not 10,000 rounds, 800,000 rounds, like bushels of rounds, and not just like AR-15 ammunition or AK-47 ammunition, 50 caliber ammunition, and not the regular kind, like the fancy kind that's like Ralphos.
What was he preparing for?
Anything.
He told me what he's preparing for, but I won't go into it. He's got the crazy, like I'm trying to think what they're fucking called. I had 3 of them and I was proud of myself, and he had thousands. But it's like carbide or something. The tip is sharp like a needle on this 50 caliber round, and it's meant to pierce things. It'll pierce through like a large amount of hardened plate armor. You need reactive tank armor to stop one of these bullets effectively. And he's not shooting them one at a time. You're probably picturing a guy with a bolt action 50 cal. No, this is a guy with many 50 caliber machine guns. And they're not all just sitting in a closet like, oh, okay, what are you going to do? Put your 50 caliber machine gun slowly together while they come at you? No, he's got one mounted on a tank. He's got one mounted on an armored personnel carrier. He's got them mounted on tripods that are easily like put into place. It was a realization that like this isn't the only guy out there like this. There's a lot of these guys out there, and
it's like a Waco situation.
You know,
Waco they had nothing like what this guy's got.
They had that show,
they might have done better.
Preppers, that I was really looking forward to. But this, I want to see like a lifestyle of the rich and famous, but like lifestyles of the rich and deranged, or the paranoid and armed, because that's fucking awesome. Like that's better than Shark Week.
I've had the same conversation with some of the guys. Like I worked with the Doomsday Preppers people at A&E and did some work for them, and I also worked with another show that's similar to Doomsday Preppers but more of a ghetto version. And the issue that both shows had was the legit people, like the people like you're talking about, the people that I'm describing here. There's a reason I'm not using their names. They wouldn't appreciate that, and it wouldn't be cool of me to say their names or give their locations in the world. These are people who they're not doing anything illegal. Everything they have is 100% on the up and up. But they don't want people knowing that they've had millions of dollars worth of stuff, sitting around, and they don't want, it to be a known thing where things are, layouts and such like that.
That's the worst part, because part of being secure in when the shit really hits the fan is
anonymity.
Anonymity. Like here's where the secret door is to my bunker, and it's,
right.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be a neat show though. I would enjoy it.
Oh, if they did some sort of
those preppers. Like, I feel like there's a critical mass where it's just useless. Like, you can't, unless he has a militia of people with him who can operate those other weapons, it's like he's going to be like a kid in a candy store when the military finally does show up. He's not going to know what to use.
He essentially does have a militia. Actually, that guy's part of a militia. I remember that.
Okay, that's pretty dope. That's awesome.
Well, his employees are all seem to be knowledgeable. Most of them are ex-military. And I don't mean he has 3 employees. I mean, he has hundreds of employees and stuff like that. And like, I met a lot of these guys at the Knob Creek machine gun shoot in Kentucky, and malicious not a dirty word there. I feel like at large, it has kind of become a dirty word because it gets mixed in with a lot of that Charlottesville white supremacist tiki torching asshole shit. But that's not the case, generally speaking, right? It's there are some guys who take the Constitution very seriously, and they're fulfilling a militia role, and oftentimes they're in really remote, isolated communities where if something did happen, a militia might be your last resort. The same way that in certain areas, like if you call 911, they're like, all right, see you in half an hour. So it's smart to be armed yourself.
I have a much smaller sample size with regards to like talking and knowing militia members compared to you, I would guess. But the people I see who are into this in a big way, like their hobby and passion is the apocalypse, are almost wishing they lived in a different world. Like whatever set of skills and circumstances they have in real life, they're not thriving, right? They're just like, oh man, you know? But as soon as zombies hit, I'm going to move from this trailer to that guy's house, and I'm going to be, who's the not Rick Grimes, but the guy he fought against for 2 years.
The governor.
Nope.
Negan.
I'm going to be Negan as soon as the apocalypse hits, right? I've got all the guns. I'll have all the henchmen. And it's like, dude, stop it. You're not preparing for anything. You're dreaming. You want to prepare for something? Go get a fucking accounting bachelor's degree. You'll improve your real life.
Yeah, for sure. That's
not as exciting though.
Because that is like I feel that. I do wish that the happening would finally happen. I know a lot of my guy friends who are exactly the guys you're talking about, Woody. I know that they'll say, we'll get drunk, and somebody will go a little too far and say something like that. And you're like, you said it this time. You fucked up this time, and let everyone know that life is soul-sucking depression because we have no innate value in
real life. You're crushing it. You've got a card game. And Taylor says your Patreon is awesome.
But we need more. We're designed for more.
Do you have a real job, Dick, or is this your job?
Well, I mean, real job. I got a square job. I got people that I don't tell when I'm on shows like this.
Oh yeah, see, there will be a point. I say because I think you're very good at this. There will be a point where your regular job becomes a waste of your time and talents, and you're like, you know what? Fuck that guy. I'm gonna spend all my time telling dick jokes on the internet, and then you'll have no reason for a militia. You will want real life. It's better.
I agree with you. The older I get, that Call of the Wild is less. I founded a marketing company years ago that I still run with my partners, who was part of the lawsuit. Like they got sued along with me for online comedy stuff. I love that job. It was fulfilling before all the comedy stuff. But I agree with you. I'm just saying, I want a holiday for men where everyone will participate in our shared delusion that the world is under attack and they need us.
We'll call it the Purge.
Yes, but no one has to get hurt. It's just a Halloween for men. That's all, to get all this Christmas shit out of our system.
This would be great. And this is what International Men's Day should be. Women have to stay indoors, and we get a whole day to go play out our archaic fantasies of fighting with each other in the street. For that day, everything's legal. The police take a day off. So I guess it'll be like most days in St. Louis, where you just start fights in the middle of the street, nothing happens. Yeah, I do think you're onto something there, not even in a jokey way. Like, people do want more. Like, there is something primal that they kind of, well, obviously these people fetishize end times to a great deal, but most people, I think, like, everybody's fantasized about that, how they would do it, like the exciting aspects of it.
Oh, I'm on the opposite side. I think of how much it would suck. I feel very vulnerable out here in the middle of my grass. I don't have much cover.
They're coming.
I was out flying my paramotor today.
That rich motherfucker over there.
An Osprey went by and a military Black Hawk went by. And I'm like, either one of those would just fuck up my whole situation. I don't want a single hole in my roof, let alone losing like one of the sunrooms or something. Like the apocalypse, the end times, the Chinese invasion or Russian invasion from my childhood. Like none of these things would work out well for me. What I have is better than any of these.
As a kid, you never thought about Red Dawn?
Oh, as a kid, yeah.
The scenarios that a lot of these guys lay out as like potential like doomsday type scenarios, or not necessarily that it's the doomsday where like nothing will ever recover, but that like this is a scary time that I'm preparing for, are things like a biological outbreak, something like that, or the dollar, or some sort of a financial attack, some sort of electronic financial attack, like making the dollar like worthless suddenly.
So much wasted time and effort if money's suddenly worthless.
Or if if the electrical grids all went out for, say, a month, right? And all the food in the grocery store goes, first of all, there'd be a run on food. We all know that if there's ever a blizzard blizzard in air quotes, because like 3 inches in the South is a blizzard, then like there's a run on bread and milk. Like everybody's making French toast apparently, because there's just it's all fucking gone, and all the canned goods. It's like they're getting enough food for a month, and suddenly there's not a lot of food left in the world. You need those trucks to be able to make it down the interstate and get it to you. Well, if there's no electricity to run the diesel pumps at the fucking gas station, all of a sudden those trucks aren't showing up with food. If there's no electricity to keep all the food cold at Walmart, well, then it all rots, all of the perishable goods. If all of the security guards and employees are protecting their families back at home, because we've seen what happens in a Katrina situation, right? When all of a sudden there is no rule of law, there's a disaster. There's roaming street gangs and stuff running around, raping it up and looting televisions and shit. So
Heineken's.
in that type of scenario, you know,
put yourself in the looting mindset. It's all going haywire, and you're out there in the mix of it. And I know what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to be the only one not looting. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to loot too. Where are you going to loot?
Pornography. That's everyone's going to run out of all their other items, but what are you going to do? Draw your own pornography? You got to come to old Dickie Boy. I got all the magazines in town.
You got the stickiest magazines in town.
Gobbled them all up.
One of the, I don't know, remember what year you did it, but that TED Talk where you made an absolute ass out of a bunch of retards at Drexel University was one of the, it's still a classic. If you guys haven't seen it, listeners, look up Sam Hydde TED Talk.
Man,
how hard was it for you to get into the TED Talk? Was it difficult? Did you have to come up with a fake background, or was it easier than you guessed?
It was mad easy. I just sent them an email. I said that I was, let me see if I still have the emails from Drexel, TEDx Drexel. Here we go. The organizer's name was Daira Pujara. So let's see. Yeah, I said I was a photographer. I was a war photographer in Somalia, and that there was some group of women in Somalia who were cleaning up trash, and that was who I was documenting, was like the trash ladies of Somalia. He just let me do it.
Such a stupid fake story.
And they're like, we got to get you in front of the people.
Yeah, they're not doing a good job. Somalia still looks like shit.
We got to bring attention to the trash ladies of Somalia.
Trash ladies of Somalia, the refuse handlers of Somalia. That's so fucking funny. And they were just like, that is very interesting. We'd love to have you on to give your speech. And you were like, yeah.
This sounds very interesting. Can we Skype sometime this week to explore possibilities of a speaking engagement at TEDx? Mr. Pujara, my name is Sam Hydde. I'm a videographer / photojournalist. In the past 6 months, I've done 2 projects that are pretty interesting. In California, I did some video work for SpaceX and shot a mini documentary about Elon Musk's quest to put a colony on Mars. I have permission to share my footage, including a video of Elon talking. The other project I worked on was a piece in Mogadishu, the most dangerous city on Earth. A courageous group of women is behind a statistical drop in the rates of suicide bombings, murders, and kidnappings. Their secret? Cleaning up the streets, removing trash and scrap. Not completely dissimilar to the broken window situation in NYC in the late 80s / early 90s. That's all I said. And he said, yes.
You said yes.
Sorry for rambling there, but yeah, that's how I set it up.
No, I love that. No, I love that.
Wow.
So once they said yes, you can come on, were you then like, okay, I have to come up with the whole thing now? I didn't expect them to say yes.
Yeah, I just had my friends. I had my buddy Wyatt, and I can't remember who else was involved. I know, there's this one kid who's so funny and continually has done stuff for me, but he's like super paranoid about being credited, so I never know how to credit him. And he's got like fucking 5 aliases, so I don't know which alias, like fucking Mr. Gizmo. That's him. So I had Wyatt and Mr. Gizmo and myself. We all jumped into a Google Doc and just started writing the most schizophrenic shit possible about the future. And yeah, that's how it went.
when with the beginning of that video where you climb up into the set and then sit down and drink a whole bottle of water and then say, "Give me 25 seconds," it was one of the funniest. I laugh so hard at that to this day. Just to get up there to drink water until you're out of breath and then you go, "No, give me about 25 seconds." And then
just eating. You're just eating the uncomfortable silence right in front of them. And saying, "No, you can't have any. I want it all." And they're just like, "We didn't want any. Why are you enjoying that so much?"
that was brutal.
Everybody pat yourselves on the back.
Yeah.
And of course, you're dressed as a motherfucking like Roman soldier.
A centurion. Yeah.
A centurion.
Well, that's one of the things that appeals to me most about comedy is just punishing the audience, because most and you can't really do it online, because when you're online, the people that are looking at your stuff are people who've sought you out. So it's like they're like-minded, they're with the program. So it's you can't really abuse them too much. But when you're out in the world with regular people who, you say, if the people in that audience, I can imagine saying something that I feel deeply and like heartfelt and sincere, and being looked at like I'm a fucking like axe murderer or something. Yeah. So why not torture them with like silence and schizophrenia and all these other things? That's what
do you not get uncomfortable at all? Like when you're up on, because I watched your stand up where you go in there. No. There was a whole stand-up where you were wearing like an Arab robe, and you're like, "All right, guys, we're gonna do a little different stand-up this time. I'm gonna read crime stats," and that's all that you did. And like you just ran the room. And like at home watching that a few years ago, I'm uncomfortable imagining myself having to deal with the hatred he's getting. The thought of it makes me so uncomfortable. I'm amazed. It doesn't bother you at all. You enjoy it.
No, because I know when that's happening that it's good, that it's successful, and that people who seek me out and are looking at it online are going to be happy. So that's how I know that it's going to be like an effective thing. Like I don't give a fuck about the people that came to watch it. Because the other thing is anybody who goes to open mic to do stand up and like try out stand up in a liberal city is just a scumbag. Like they're all like idiots, and their material is so bad. And their ideas about, like, these are other stand-ups, and they're not laughing at some shit that I know that I've said some shit that's super funny. I don't think I'm a great stand-up. I don't think that everything I do is like good, but I know that I've said things in front of audiences like that are super funny that people should laugh at, and these dumb motherfuckers are just sitting there like that, like waiting for me to get off the stage so they can do their like Louis C.K. ripoff bit that they practiced. So I forgot what your question was, but hey, in that Arab one, is that the one where I had the fake bomb at the end? Did you see that?
Yeah, you had a fake bomb in a suitcase, and then the organizer removed you from the premises.
Fuck, I love that so much. That's so good. My friend JD made that as a prop. He's like a prop maker. He makes crazy shit. And we made this fake bomb.
Wait, that was the bomb that when you open it, like a foghorn goes off.
Yeah.
And a bunch of lights start flashing from the bomb.
It was like a suitcase, and when you open the suitcase, there's a foghorn and a police light, and it's supposed to look like an explosive device.
It did. It was funny. You did upset some of the people there.
Are you not worried with something like that, though? Because people are so, for lack of a better word, trigger happy. Like if the cops ever show up, explain to them that it's a joke bomb might be awkward.
Yeah,
but
probably.
Joke bomb.
No, I'd just be like, no, it's a fucking foghorn and a police light in a suitcase. What are you talking about?
But you're in the robe, so all they hear is la 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 la.
That's all I had to wear. That's all I had to wear. My clothes. It's laundry day. Is it illegal? Is it illegal to wear a sheet, officer?
It is illegal to wear a sheet and yell "Assalamu alaikum" at people who don't want you around them.
Listen, here's the thing about police is that all you have to do is make them think that you're a pillhead and that you're mad about something really insignificant, and you need to be aggressively more mad than they are interested in questioning you, and you need mad at somebody else, not them. Yeah. So, for example, I recently sent a bunch of death threats to somebody, and threatened some person really bad. And after I did it, I was like, oh man, I fucked up. I better get ready to run. And the state police came, to talk to me. And when they came, I went, yeah, listen. They were like, did you threaten this man? Did you threaten to kill this person? No, I didn't say I was going to kill him. But listen, he made me late for my Uber Eats. So I'm standing there. I'm hungry. I've been hungry for 6 hours, dude. Dude, I've been hungry for 6 hours. And it was like the topic, the real thing was he was trying to find out if I was unstable about some political issue, which I am. So if I had said, yeah, and check out whitenationalism.com, that would have been the worst answer. So what I said was, yeah, I said some shit because I was pissed off at him about my Uber Eats. That fucking guy made me so mad. And if he comes back here, I'm not saying I'm going to kick his ass, but I might do something. I wasn't in character like that, but I upped the ante by like threatening. I was like, yeah, and if I see that guy again, listen, I'm not a violent person, but if he makes me miss my Grubhub, it's on. And this fucking state trooper was like, yeah, I get hungry like that too sometimes. Listen, don't contact him again.
Don't contact me. Just a big fat fucking pig. I get hungry too sometimes.
Well, state trooper was a cool guy. He was handsome. He was a Chad. And he was like me. He had my body type. And I knew that he was going to get pissed off when he's hungry because I get pissed off when I'm hungry. So I knew that would be like the common bond with this state trooper.
And Kyle and I were eating the same thing. Wednesdays it was hamburgers. Thursday was chicken on the bone. Friday for fish patty or fish.
Everybody loved that fucking fried chicken.
Yeah, fried chicken day was always popping.
What was wrong with it? Was it really poor quality?
I thought it was horrible.
Fine. It was. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't anything like it. I had like real fried chicken like the day I went in, like a week before. But like they were like, "Yo, bro, you're not coming for fried chicken day?" And I'm like,
you don't skip fried chicken day. Let me get your tray.
Exactly. Come on, get your tray and let me have it. I'm like, the whole thing is I don't want to stand in the line.
That's what people never understood. If I wanted to go up there, I would eat it.
Yeah.
How long is the line? How long does that take?
It varies. 5-10 minutes. Forever. It's not like super long. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to walk all the way.
To the chow hall, wait in line, get it.
How many pieces of chicken? Is it like 2 legs? You get like a leg and a wing? How much?
We had quarter on the bone. Well, we had just straight like leg, drumstick, little wing thing, whatever, like about yay big on the bone.
Of chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a solid piece.
And you can get an extra piece of chicken if you want an extra piece of chicken.
At the medium, you can't get ridden up.
Do you have to?
You probably.
Do you have to like make a deal with the
someone in the kitchen, the guys
mess hall guy?
The cooks are normally selling at black market. If you got the stamps cash, they got some wrapped up in gloves in their pants, ready to go. Give it to you in a 5-finger glove.
Based on Oz, running the kitchen is the primo thing to do because the Italians and the black gang were fighting over that the entire time.
It's a lucrative hustle if you have access to the food, especially the veggie prep guys that can get onions and bell peppers. Those are always a hot commodity everywhere I go. They're like $1.50, $2 each.
Yeah, that was what was so cool about when Snow made me that like nacho bowl on my last day, because it was like bell peppers and onions and real cheese and stuff, and
delicious.
I hadn't had anything close to real food in so long.
And now you see why the onions and bell peppers cost so much. It's hard for them to smuggle out, but they make the food pop so much better. 100% black market. But yeah, it is a good hustle. I mean, the other dudes, store men make more money probably, but it's a solid hustle. It's a respectable hustle, taking food out of the chow hall and selling it. You might be able to get access to some oranges. And unlike at Kyle's, we didn't have street liquor at ours, so we'd made plenty of prison wine and prison moonshine.
Were you around, or did you help make the wine or anything at any point?
Oh yeah, there were a couple times that I helped with the batches.
How do you do it?
Pretty much you take your khaki pants that they issue you in there. I don't think Kyle had khakis. You guys have a jumper thing, right? Like a jumpsuit.
Green pants,
jumpsuit, right?
Green button up top.
That's right. Yeah, we have the khakis at the mediums and the higher up security. You cut off a leg and stitch the bottom of it to make basically a big sleeve. Put a garbage bag in it for lining. Put you a good 6 to 12 Mountain Dews in it, like half a gallon of water, as much powdered sugar as you can, not powdered, but like grain sugar as you can possibly come across. Some yeast from the kitchen. That's always a big hot commodity. You get in big trouble getting caught with that. And throw a couple of oranges in there for good measure. Pretty much let the bitch sit in the wall for, if it's your first batch with no kicker, like a week. If you've already got kicker, like the leftover bacteria from your last batch, to throw in there and kickstart it like 3-4 days. Pretty much once it gets ready, you burp the bag. You got to make sure that the bag is sealed. Somebody's got to periodically check on about every hour so it doesn't pop and burp it, let all that gas build up, come out from the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it's done, it's basically very powerful, fizzy wine that shouldn't taste sweet. Hopefully the sugar's all been converted to alcohol. It does get very stout. The moonshine process, I was not as involved with. That involves making a stinger out of hair clippers, electricity, boiling it to a certain degree, and then putting a trash bag over it to collect the distilled alcohol. I didn't get involved in that, but I made a lot of wine.
This is some impressive engineering from prisoners. Very impressive.
Whenever you see anything a prisoner has made with their hands and they knew what they were doing, it's pretty cool. Like all I saw was lighters, like that people had made, like battery powered cigarette lighters.
Yeah,
but it was like you could see, like, man, he put a lot of time and effort in this. Like
necessity is the mother of invention. Prison is where you really find that out. I've said that a lot. Like the ingenuity that you see in there is amazing. And even simple shit that people think of for quality of life. Like when I first went in, I had glasses. I couldn't think of where to put my glasses. I saw a guy toothpasted a fucking milk carton to the wall by his bunk. Just set his damn glasses in there every night. Easy, just little simple shit like that. Yeah. When you don't respect the house and you can do whatever you want to the paint and the walls, you can do amazing things.
Wow.
That's wild.
I was camping this summer and we picked up this guy, rode with his dog on the gas tank. And we didn't know him or anything, but he was by himself. So we let him sort of join our group for a bit. And I recognized his tattoos as likely to be prison tattoos. Like there's an artistic style and stuff. And we have dinner and he starts expertly putting together some like ramen noodles and Chef Boyardee and turning it into something else.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, is that a prison recipe? And he goes, no. And I say, let me rephrase. Be honest, is that a prison recipe? And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You see somebody make something incredible out of ramen, you already know the business.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my head wrapped around the ramen noodle thing. It didn't make sense when that chili existed. It was just so much. It was so good. I hated the ramen. I ate ramen like 3 times.
I always loved the ramen. I fucked with the ramen tub. I dumped mackerel in it, whatever. It was so versatile.
Which flavor of ramen were you a big fan of?
I mostly like spicy chicken, the picante chicken.
Yeah.
I can no longer eat creamy chicken or the chili flavored kind. Those two, I got very, very tired of those. Creamy chicken, you can taste it for 6 hours, and the chili one just is burned into my brain because it's all they sold at my jail for like 4 months at one point. And I just cannot stomach the taste of it anymore.
The guys would add mayonnaise to it. And
I saw that shit. Squirt a whole 2-3 packs of mayonnaise in that bitch. I don't know what's up with that.
We had the whole squeeze thing. Like we had shelf-stable mayonnaise that comes in a fucking squeeze thing.
And they just load it.
They'd load it up, and I was like, "Oh no, guys.
Gross, man!"
Like you can just like boil it and then add that fucking flavor packet, and it's pretty fucking good.
It's already pretty bad for you. You don't have to add a bunch of lard to it.
It was awful. It was awful. I ate a little bit, but mostly I ate those chilies, and I didn't eat much while I was there anyway.
Like the chili pouches off the store.
Yeah, those were so fucking good.
Those are really good.
Yeah, I did the jalapeno slices in that huge ass jar, and I didn't know that when you bought jalapeno slices, they were going to give me like a half gallon of them. So I bought 3 jars the first day I got there or something.
It's like
because I thought I was going to
stupid ass screw top. Jalapenos.
Nobody tells you like how many are going to be in anything. So when you buy cheese, you're like, how much you don't know what you're getting.
Is it one slice? Is it a block? You don't know.
I wish I had a commissary list still.
I've got one somewhere actually.
It's pretty good shit. I mean,
look it up. It's about.
I usually tell people it's like everything you can get inside of a good gas station. That isn't like the burgers and taquitos and nonsense.
Right,
like everything that's on the shelves. Like
chili pouches and Vienna sausages, mackerel, ramen, stuff like that. Toothbrushes and toothpaste.
Chips and sodas and stuff. Just everything that's bad for you. Yeah.
What was the item that, like, if you're a new guy and you went to load up on it, that you were most likely to be harassed for having? Like if some guy bought like 8 packs of chips, is he signing himself up to get harassed? Or is it Max? Or is it?
I feel like not necessarily.
Cheese,
the sodas are a hot commodity because at the mediums they're limited. You can only get a 12-pack, and so people will be like, "What you gonna do with those sodas, man? Are you gonna drink them? Can I sell those? Let me buy those from you." Because a lot of dudes sell them.
Nah,
well, dudes sell them for profit. I don't know if they did that at their camp, but they'll fill up their trash can with ice and have cold sodas, and you can buy one for 2 stamps, and so they'll turn a little profit on it. And you get it already freezing cold.
I would
trying to buy them.
I would take that giant ass mug and fill it up in the ice machine because I don't know about you, we have access to one of those really nice ice machine that makes
big ass ice machine we have,
and I'd fill that thing up and like I put my Diet Pepsi like down in it and make a little cooler to like a refrigerator.
Yeah, with your mug, the big clear gallon mug, the big with the handle,
huge. That thing was full of ice water.
Yeah,
all day,
it was super huge. It worked as a cooler for one beverage at a time.
Yep.
Maybe
I've always wondered this about it. Like if you go into a prison like you were in, and let's say I'm a guy worth $200 million on the outside. If I go in there and I'm like, I'll take everything from the commissary. I'll take whatever this. Am I a target, or am I able to be like, hey, anybody who comes near me, beat the shit out of them, and I'll give you way more money than anybody here can even compete with?
I personally don't think it would come to that.
You don't think so?
For what it's worth, there's a spending limit. There's a cap at $360 per month that you can spend. Certain things don't come off of that limit, like stamps and certain toiletries and hygiene products, but some dudes do that. Some dudes go at the start of the month and they drop their whole spending limit for the month and then fill up their locker and just eat off it for the month. So, no, I don't think you'd be particularly targeted. You have a lot of bags of store coming back. You'd have to have somebody to help you, but nobody's going to just be trying to beg and bum off of you like that. If you're just doing your time and staying out of the way, they're going to stay out of your way, you know?
But if you wanted to become the pod boss, could you do that via the amount of fucking stamps that you acquired? Like you're just paying some guy named
I don't see why not.
You're talking about like in Civilization, instead of a domination victory, you're trying to get like
I'm trying to win economically in my prison stint. Yeah.
Probably. You could probably pay some people off.
It probably doesn't take $200 million to dominate financially the prison population. Probably 1 million will do it.
I was just making up a ridiculously
probably
high
$100
number.
grand.
I was going to say, as far as like spending too much and like making yourself like a target or anything, the thing was that like everybody was coming back to their cell with like a Christmas sack of stuff on like commissary day. So it's like, you're not, if you literally have 30 pounds of commissary that you're bringing back in a sack that you have to drag, no one is going to blink an eye, because
they're not going to blink an eye.
There's someone coming right behind you.
It's common.
Same shit.
Okay.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that probably a quarter of the inmates or so either don't make commissary often or not at all, or they're,
there were guys
or whatever. But it's definitely common enough to where you're not going to get people looking at you because you bought a lot of commissary. There's plenty of dudes in there that are perfectly upset financially and got no problem maxing out their limit once a month.
How often can you go to commissary?
Once a week. Unless you're at your spending limit, in which case then you can only buy approved items like stamps and hygiene and stuff. But once a week, you get a rotating day.
Though. Can't I just buy like $100 worth of stamps and then buy your ramen noodles?
You can get one book of stamps per week on the commissary. And also at the prisons that I was at, the stamps between inmates were only worth 33 cents. So there was really no reason to ever buy them off
So you couldn't max out your commissary and then buy a bunch of stamps and then use those stamps to buy more of the unapproved unlimited items or limited items, I suppose.
Yeah. You could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because
you can remove the middleman and just swap them. Like you can be like, you're not getting your sodas this week. I'll get you $3 worth of mackerel, and okay, cool. You can get my sodas, What
was a lot more common was to either, for us anyway, was to either swap days with somebody, or be like, get this for me today and I'll get this for you tomorrow, or even like, I lost my train of thought.
That helps, but I want to spend more than 360. That's my goal.
And it seems like based on what he said, you can.
Well, the main way, in my opinion, to circumvent it is to go black market, get your people on the street to send some money to his people on the street, and he just gives me the stamps. That's the best way to go about it, in my opinion. I did that all the time, straight up illicit black market trading for stamps. He gets word, hey, my people your people just sent my wife $100. He gives you $100 worth of stamps. Now I can get whatever I want without touching my commissary limit,
Because everyone
here's $5. Give me $5 worth of this, and you get sodas, and now I've got 200 sodas coming in one day.
And the other thing is like $120 a week or whatever it came to is a shitload of junk food.
That's a fuck ton of commissary.
Like it's so much. You're not going to run out unless you really pour plainly on like one item. Like I think one time I ran out of like salsa. It's like, I didn't get 10 cups of salsa this week. I only got 8, and I had to borrow a cup of salsa. But like normally, like
$100 a commissary a week is a fuck ton to blow through.
It literally is. We have this laundry bag that's like this
mesh laundry bag, big white
mesh, and you'd be walking back with that fucker just full of
crunching.
It's great.
Breaking your potato chips.
Yeah, they have a whole in the place where we go to get commissary, like it's like a giant candy store back there. Like there's so much shit, and they had it down to an art. There's a whole system. It's pretty cool.
Do any of because I know lots of people in prison spend a huge amount of their time lifting weights and working out. Like, did those guys ever regularly supplement their protein with we have
protein
and
powder.
stuff?
So we have protein.
You can get protein powder.
We couldn't at the medium, but I heard about it. You can get protein bars,
and you could steal eggs from the kitchen. So
what
that's
kind
what
of
Snow
protein
would do.
powder, just like basic,
it was like
level whey protein.
Yeah, like whey protein. Because I remember Snow asked me one day how many grams of protein per pound that he weighed he should be eating. And like, so when I spoke to Kitty on the phone that day, I asked her to Google it for me real quick. And then she told me, and I went back and told him, and he started doing the math. He's like, so I have my shake in the morning. So that's 40 grams of protein. He's like going through, and I'm sitting there for 5 minutes nodding and smiling as he counts grams of protein that he's had today. And at the end, I'm like, that's real good.
As you should.
Good.
He was a very useful guy.
That's a lot of protein you got. Good job. like, you think that's enough? I'm like, probably.
Probably so. You're probably good.
I didn't want to add more.
I mean, you want more pack of mackerel, 32 grams.
It's true.
If we're looking for a new topic, I outlined a little Bible tale for us. It's been a hot second.
Oh, I'd love that. What are you going to regale us with today, Taylor?
I was going to do Easter, but I wanted to do something a little less common knowledge. And so, are either of you familiar with the tale of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
And Abednego.
Wait, say it again.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yep,
yes.
It's
Kyle does know it.
I went to church.
Yeah, no, I legit thought he made up an eeny, meeny, miny, moe type of thing.
No, go to Daniel 3-6. I think is where. Yeah, I know because I reread it.
Please don't tell me the story, and I just disappointed my parents.
Yeah, no, and your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Woody's parents. I dare you to find one thing wrong with this. One factoid wrong with this. So basically, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 Jews hanging out in the Old Testament. And this is one of the many times that the Jews or the state of Israel was just getting, or maybe Judah at the time, I don't fucking remember. They were just getting butt fucked by whatever powerful people there were at the time. There were the Babylonians, like Assyrians, like all throughout the ages. This was a Babylon time. And so they were under the thumb of King Nebuchadnezzar, the original Chad. And King Nebuchadnezzar he had his hanging gardens of Babylon. Like they were the most powerful empire in the world, in their known world at the time. And he had all this dope shit. And he had so much extra gold sitting around that he was like, you know, it would be tight. I'm going to build a 90-foot solid gold statue of like myself or some like guy who's kind of like me there, or some, you know, god. They don't even like really say what it was. And so he built some dope ass statue, gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide. And I looked that up. That's like 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. Like a cubit is apparently like 1.5 feet.
Okay.
So this is a lot of gold. It's a real flex on the rest of the world. And so he builds this and he's so stoked on it that he invites all of his, I don't remember all the words, I read them down, all of his officials from the kingdom, governors, senators, satraps, I assume some kind of mayor, judges, treasurers, everybody from every corner of the Babylonian kingdom, all the high-ranking, you know, hullabaloo people show up. And they're like, you're right, King Nebuchadnezzar, this is really cool. And he's like, it doesn't stop here, guys. Anytime you hear music from, and I'll read this list, I'll just read what the town crier said. Nation and people of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of the gold king Nebuchadnezzar. And so, first of all, pretty sure a lot of those instruments are made up. And so he sends all the governors and everybody back. They relay that same message. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't just like 3 random Jews walking around the street in like shitty ass sandals. They had like not the overruling part of a province, but they were like a couple levels down. They still had nice houses, nice shit. Like they weren't in poverty or anything. And pretty much immediately, as soon as this town crier said that, he added an addendum, which Nebuchadnezzar also instructed, where he's like, and make sure they also know anybody who doesn't bow down as soon as all these made up instruments start going, they're going to be brought back to me. They're going to be brought in front of me, and I'm going to burn them alive in a really cool big furnace I also made. And believe it or not, that was compelling to most people. That got them on board. And so as soon as they heard the zither and the lyre, boom, right down, like almost like Mecca. They're like, even if you can't see it from whatever province they're in, they're like, I'm not risking some ancient cop finding me and ratting me out. I'm aiming right there and praying to Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, fuck you. They don't say, fuck you. They say, no, thanks. No, thank you. Their overseer goes to King Nebuchadnezzar, goes, hey, Neb. Neb goes, don't call me that. He goes, I understand. He goes, King Nebuchadnezzar, these 3 Jews, they're not bowing down. Did you tell him about the furnace thing? Yes, I led with the furnace thing. Yes, of course I told you. Of course I led with it, you brilliant king. And so Nebuchadnezzar is like, okay, well, bring him to me. Bring them to me. As far as I can tell, they're doing a good job on paper, but if they're not going to do what I want, bring them here. So he brings them there, and he tells them, hey, and King Nebuchadnezzar is like in the opposite situation of like a rock and a hard place. He's between like tits and ass. No matter which way he goes, it's positive. If they show up and they say, I'm not bowing down, he gets a handful of tit, so to speak, where he gets to throw them in the furnace, burn them alive, and ensure that everybody's like, yeah, that bitch is not playing. He will burn you alive, bow. Or if they do what he wanted them to do, nice handful of ass, and they bow down, it's a little ego stroke where he's like, yeah, all it really took was them seeing me in my glory for them to bow down and do it.
All right.
And so they show up. He says, bow down, or you're going in the furnace. No other options. They say, I will not bow down. No, I'm not bowing down. No, that's not my God. I'm not bowing down to your false idol or whatever the fuck. And he goes like probably a little like kind of like happy about it, like, okay, time to break in the furnace. But he tells his furnace guy first, he goes, turn it up 7 times as hot as normal. And in my head, I'm thinking like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego at this time were kind of relieved, where they're like, oh, he said 7. 7's one of those numbers that works out well. God, if he had said turn it up twice as hot, I would have shit myself. But 7, we should be okay. Thank God. And so Nebuchadnezzar, well, 7 is a biblical number. Like,
yeah,
it's all
see it a lot.
Oh, you're talking to me, you know I know that.
Yeah. Things happen in 7s all the time in the Old Testament and in the New. And so Nebuchadnezzar wasn't just content with normal soldiers tying him up, because he's brought some of his governors and satraps and people to see this whole thing because he thinks it's cool. It is cool. And he brings out his most burly, ripped soldiers to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And then he tells them, throw them in the fire. And he says that the fires were so hot that when they went to open the furnace to throw the 3 Jews in, that the men throwing them in themselves died. And so he wasted a bunch of juicy man muscle just in trying to get his point across, which I wouldn't have done. I would have used worthless soldiers, but what do I know? I'm no Neb. And so he throws them in there, and he's sitting on his cool gold throne, the extra gold that was left over from the statue, just kind of watching. And I guess there's a fucking window in this furnace that you can kind of see what's going on. And so after a couple minutes, he's like, what? I see. How many Jews do we? Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Was there another one? They got goofy ass names. Was there? There's 4 people standing in there right now. Well, don't take them out yet, because even if it is their god, maybe he'll run out of magic, and they'll eventually burn. You know, like maybe he can only stave off the flames for so long. So he leaves them in there a couple more minutes to simmer. Becomes clear God's not going to run out of magic, and so he goes, "Take those guys out of there. Take them out of there." And so he opens up the furnace. The three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego come out totally unscathed. It says they don't even smell of fire.
Are they naked?
Don't even smell like they've been there. No, their clothes were fine too. And so they all come out, and all the governors, the satraps, everybody's there. They're looking. And so King Nebuchadnezzar has to pull a World War II Italy, where they switch sides and pretend they've been on that side the entire time. And so he goes, wow, your guys' God is really cool. I'm on board. You guys don't have to worship this statue. Everyone, we are keeping the statue. It looks awesome. We don't have to pray to it, but you're not getting. No, I don't. We're not getting rid of it. That's fine. You go in the furnace. You're not protected by their God. We're keeping the statue. Does anyone not want to keep the statue? We're keeping the fucking statue. And so he keeps the statue, and then also he's talking to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and being like, "Wow, your God's like legit real. My gold statue didn't do anything but shine brightly." And so he asks them about their God. They kind of have a little back and forth, and then because King Nebuchadnezzar still has to appear hardcore, he goes, "All right, we're all following the Jewish God now, and anyone in my kingdom who questions the Jewish God, I will have you and your family cut to pieces and your homes razed to the ground." And everybody's like, 40 minutes ago, we were talking about the statue. And so everybody unanimously is like, yeah, whatever you say, dude, we're all on board with the Jewish God. I don't want to get cut to pieces. And then to end it all, he gives Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego a raise and a promotion. So what did we learn?
Hopefully we're fireproof.
I was hoping for insight because I didn't learn anything. Nothing at all. At all.
It's a little similar to David in the lion pit, you know? I
David
feel like they just recycled that one at some point.
You know, they probably did.
I mean, if you think about it, they're like identical stories, right? Except you got lions instead of fire.
You think that like one scribe or whatever prophet back in the day was writing that, and his scribe's like, "Oh, this is very similar. I'm British. This is very similar to David and the Lion's Den." He's like, "No, it's not. No, it's not. Name 10 similarities."
I like to think the teacher handed out a project, and she's like, "No group projects. You guys can't. Did you guys work together on yours?"
Mine's got lions.
Mine's got a cool statue and a king named Nebuchadnezzar.
We should run both through one of those like plagiarism checkers they use in colleges now.
Yeah,
see if anyone
gets
busted.
That would be funny if it's like Jeremiah ripped all of his shit from like Leviticus.
It's like that year that the two Deep Impact and Armageddon came out the same year.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a fuck, what? What? Well, in ours, the asteroid hits. All right.
What I've learned the most is the more like I read these Old Testament stories, and like I've got a couple more stories outlined for the future. I just like doing them in our Just Us Girls chats. Is I'm not learning anything. I'm not learning any morals, any sort of compass for my life for most of these stories.
Really?
It's really just like.
Come on, you get it though, right? You do get it.
I get that you're supposed to praise this God.
No, it's about faith under fire, literally.
Yeah, but that's
it's trusting God no matter what. And
in
God
real life, that doesn't work at all.
And you become a martyr.
Lots of people get cancer and they pray to God and they believe just as much as these fucks.
Well, that was part of God's plan.
Yeah, that's a convenient out.
That's the truth. Question it and you could burn too.
I just feel like if I had put my faith in God instead of my reserve parachute 2 months ago, this show would be down one host.
Yeah, dude, if the afterlife is real,
and that would have been God's plan.
If the afterlife is real,
praise his name.
Fucking St. Peter next to the pearly gates is going to pull up one of the many YouTube compilations you listeners have made of my Bible stories, and I'm going straight to hell. So thanks for that. Thanks for that. But it's not real, so don't worry about it.
That's the lesson.
I'm like 99% sure.
Yeah. If it is,
are you 100%? Or because I'm only like 99%.
No, I would say I'm like high 90s%. But if I die and it turns out it's real, I am not going to be pleased.
Me either. And if you think about it, you wouldn't risk like how do the seatbelts work in your car? It says high 90s. 90, 93, 94% of the time they work. Not really. Doesn't that concern you? Like, aren't you always worried about it every time you get behind the wheel? No,
not really. I mean, that like they taught us that in school as like an argument to believe in God. It was called Pascal's wager. And it was, if you believe in God and it doesn't exist, you haven't lost anything. If you believe in God and he does exist, you go to heaven. If you don't believe in God and he doesn't exist, nothing happens. If you don't believe in God and he doesn't exist, you go to hell. So it was like, well, mathematically, you should believe in God. And my thought even then was like, he's gonna know I'm faking it. Like he's gonna know that I'm only doing it out of fear of not going to hell. And like,
he's
that's
okay
not
with
to get
that.
into heaven. I don't think so.
Based on what I've read, he seems pretty okay with scaring people into worshiping him.
Yeah. Old Testament God was much more into the fear. Jesus was a little nicer, but Jesus also did, well, not even mean, funny stuff, like whip people in the, when they were like using his, like the Pharisees and Sadducees were using the church as a bartering ground and trading and financial place instead of using it as a worship place. He just goes in there and starts cracking the whip on all these Pharisees and overturning their tables. That was fun.
Yeah,
good for him. I liked that.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I brought that up in my my drug class in prison. I don't remember how. Yeah. The teacher was an absolute moron. And he brought up something like he'd get like really stuck in the mud with the conversations. Like he'd start arguing with us, and we knew how to just like drag him down into the mud, so he didn't get to teach us anything. And something came up about something came up. I don't remember where it came from, but he was just like, you know, Jesus would never did anything violent. Jesus was all about peace. And I'm like, what about the time he whipped all those guys? He's like, what are you talking about? The time he went to where the tax collectors were in the temple, and he whipped the shit out of those people and turned their tables over. He's like, oh, well, those were Jews. And I went,
you said that?
I think I just won. I looked around. It was just 3 white guys and 8 black guys. And I was like, shit, none of them are here to complain about this. Damn it.
I mean, they were Jews, but they weren't just Jews. They were Pharisees. And Sadducees, like the bad kind of religious people that were just manipulating the Old Testament into making money.
Are you saying also, like, Jews are the bad kind because they make money?
No,
the Pharisees were the bad kind.
Evil.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus was so against them.
I choose to believe you said that.
And also, like he said, Jesus never did anything violent. There's literally in Matthew a verse that says, I bring not peace, but a sword.
Well,
this guy didn't know his fucking Bible.
That was a metaphor.
Not the way I do. Even better than Woody's parents.
If they want to dispute that.
No joke. I think they're in Israel right now.
That is so fucking funny.
They're like, they're getting extra lessons straight from the source right now.
Wait, I would Israel?
Love. Yeah,
so, like, they go walk around Jerusalem. Does she not know that like people in Israel aren't Christians?
I don't understand.
Most of them aren't.
Why it's so cool, but yeah, that's like their favorite place to vacation now. They go to Israel probably more than once a year. They call me. If they're not in Israel right now, then they just came home.
I wonder, do they have like nice beaches and stuff there? Like they're right on the Mediterranean.
But that's not what they're doing. They're like taking camels and checking out Moses' 40-mile walk or something like that.
Yeah, they do have nice beaches, though. I've definitely seen them on the. Let me try to find a picture.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they have nude beaches.
Israel does? I figured they'd be way too conservative for that kind of thing.
I don't know.
I'll just look up Israeli nude beaches. Let's see.
Where can I sunbathe nude in Israel? You go to Masada.
I'm pretty sure like even shit like porn isn't legal in Israel.
Here you go, nudist beach at the. Oh, I found a YouTuber.
Nudist beach at Dead
heading
Sea?
to the nude beach on the Dead Sea in Israel.
The Dead Sea's in Israel,
and she's naked.
For some reason, I thought it was in like Eastern Europe or something. Like,
was this uploaded September 23rd, 2015?
Sure was.
We're on the same video.
You're going to want to skip on forward to when she gets naked. She blurs everything, but I'm still pleased. She's got some of that Dead Sea mud. She's rubbing it on her face, like war paint.
Oh, she's got a tattoo. Big no-no in Judaism. Well, and Christianity
anyway,
too, I guess.
Yeah, definitely nude beaches in Israel. Yeah.
Well, the more you know.
The more you know.
The Dead Sea is somewhere that would be.
Let
really
your mom
cool
know,
to
buddy.
Yeah.
She might have gone to the nude beaches. You don't know.
Yeah, your parents. I wouldn't put it past them.
Nothing wrong with it,
right?
We're gonna
hike the Sinai Desert Trail.
Going to Masada,
and
then we're gonna get our freak on because that's how Woody's parents go. It just is.
Yeah, fuck me. Oh, this is right where Abraham almost killed Isaac.
Is Masada the one where the Israelis held out against the Romans for like a long time and then they suicided at the end so the Romans could claim no victory?
I don't know. Is this a Bible story or is this like in the middle area, like where the Maccabees were?
Well, I don't know my Bible that well, but I thought that was the story of Masada.
Masada. It would make sense because Mossad's like their CIA, so it makes sense they name it after something like that.
I don't. Well, that's the Mossad. I don't know if that's. I mean, maybe
Masada.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you
that's what happened.
I
yeah.
say Masada.
So,
let's call the whole thing up. No.
Let's see. Yeah, in 66 AD, Masada was a Roman garrison. A group of Jewish extremists overcame it and settled there. In the next several years, more people joined them, and then there was a siege led by Lucius Flavius Silva in 72 AD. It lasted about 2 to 3 months, and it culminated in the construction of a siege ramp and tower to try to get at them. But it seems like 960 Israelis held out for like a really long time, like over a year or something like that. And at the end, they did like a mass suicide so that like the Romans could claim no victory.
That's a really cool story. I can't believe I've never read about this.
That might be a fun one.
Also, like what'd you say? Flavius fucking whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Romans had cool names.
Sick fucking names.
Why can't we bring that back?
Black people have. I went to school with an Octavius.
Okay. Well, was his Octavius Flavius Caesar or whatever?
No. He's dead now.
We lost. I think we lost his.
Can you hear us?
Are you there, Michael?
He said something about a dying battery earlier.
He did.
That is probably it for Michael. Check out his link to his channel below if you're interested in him. Yep. Yeah, Woody, you stepped away, and Kyle and
I was like,
got into a little bit of a tiff.
Like, what happened?
I remember I was looking up at the top left where it shows the recording time, and I'm like, God damn it, Kyle, we're like 46 minutes in, and you guys are fighting about something.
He didn't think No, I don't believe he's done.
He
didn't think I believed him for some reason about that story about that.
Yeah, that was out. I didn't think
so. He told the story to us while you were gone about the lady threatening to kill the children, and she had the gun in the house hidden. And I thought she was the one who went to him for treatment. And then he's like, no, the husband. I'm like, wait, so he came to you years later and sought treatment, or like after the fact? Like, no, he left the kids there with the death threat hanging over them and left the country and came with me. And I was shocked by that like happening. And he took that as me thinking he was lying. But
right. But what actually happened is you thought that the guys.
I thought the man was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not that Michael was a liar. That wasn't where you was.
I didn't think that until he brought it up 3 times. He was like, it's like you don't think it's true. It's like you try to poke holes in my story. And no, not at all. I want you to tell me more about the situation and why that.
You know what was surprising?
That was a good idea.
Surprising is that the conversation was better after the fight.
Yeah.
Like unironically better. Like literally better.
You know, I don't subscribe
I said some mean shit
to that. Ego thing. I embrace my ego, and I am the reason that
he called me smug, and I ticked a little. He's like, you sit there in your chair. We're all in chairs. Those words? Yeah, you sit there in your chair, all smug, judging this. And I'm just like, you're
sitting there in your fucking chair with your goddamn headphones in your nose.
There are real people who do things that. As you sit there in your chair, smugly judging them, they're real people who don't know what to do about situations.
Well, this woman, an idiot, man. You described crazy.
This woman who was
no
married
one in the world is going to agree with
an Asian woman.
So he hooked up with Michael, and they went to Costa Rica and left the kids with her. And it all worked out. And Michael says that I'm sitting here smugly judging her. Shut up, Michael. Michael, won't you? You're being a little smug there for someone who's on the side of a house somewhere with birds calling and dogs barking. I heard a stranger walk by a minute ago. Don't be rude to me and cut me off. I let you trail on for 3 fucking. I don't know how many stories of nonsense.
With your fucking smug teeth.
He seemed like a pretty sincere guy to me, and I was really sympathetic to his.
Man, that guy went through one of the worst,
the saddest story of all time. Like, that the most traumatic thing to go through and ever. Like, if that was pitched for the beginning, if that was pitched for like the beginning of a movie, it would literally. I was gonna make a joke when he said it early on and be like, dude, that is literally unbelievably sad. Like it would get turned down in a writer's room for being like, no one endures this level of 364 days of pregnant.
Yeah.
Like that's heartbreaking. To even be able to go on
She's
and
pregnant.
all.
I wonder how long the period. Yeah, he said that. How long from the car crash to the LSD trip? Did we get a vibe for that period of time?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, I thought maybe
we didn't learn how often he takes it.
Oh, we did every single day. Like that was so funny.
Say that
every single day.
Well, microdose.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I microdose though. You know, like constantly microdosing is my guess. He wouldn't answer. That was funny to me. Woody was like, so how much you do a month? He goes on about being a sovereign citizen or something. That's not what he really said, but something silly. And then so how many times a month?
Wait, hold on. I don't want to forget this idea. Can we book a show where we get him and that prison guy?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and honestly, and I want to see if we can get to where all three of us are off screen at the same time. it's just those two.
And then, but we don't come back until the crew breaks up.
It's just like, I'm going to tell you this. You need to be doing LSD. And he's like, I was robbing a bank once. And he's like, really? That's fascinating. How'd you rob that bank? My daughter programs cell phones for a living, and she's only 6 years old. Her name's Susan.
And then the other guy speaks up, and he's like, I'd like to make this movie. I produce movies. And so the drug guy says, that's great. You're a movie producer. What do you do? And he goes on for like 5 minutes inexplicably. And the drug guy somehow understands every fucking word and just nods sagely while that would be a good show. Those three together, nobody can answer a fucking question. Look, I'm so sorry for that man's unbelievable loss. It is the saddest shit I've ever heard. Yeah. I ain't lying. I wasn't sitting here smugly judging his story. I was sitting here. I couldn't believe what he was telling me.
It does seem like there was a disconnect from time to time. Like we'd ask a direct question and not get a direct answer, or he'd tell a story. We'd be like, "Wow," and he's like, "We calling me a liar?" No, that wasn't what I was going for at all. And there are just these.
He's like, "What are you trying to get at? What are you trying to get at? I don't know what you want to talk about right now." I'm like, "I want to talk about how that guy's wife was going to smoke him and his kids, and he went and did drugs in another country with you, and how." And at one point I kind of suggested that he might be culpable if she had killed the kids, and I saw him react to it. It was funny. I saw his face react. He was like, got him alone.
Got him alone. Kyle does not like being called smug.
I didn't like it at all. I wasn't being smug. I was trying to contain
let go of
that
your
part
ego,
of
Kyle.
me that wants to yell, "Sir, something awful happened to you. I bet." Just guessing here that you sustained a head injury in that crash that killed your wife. And I bet in the years since you've abused drugs so much daily that you have a hard time communicating very, very well right now. And I also think that your perception on reality is literally altered right now. So you're getting some readings off me that aren't exactly accurate. Plus, you don't know me very well. I told him I had 4 kids when he tried to use that against us. He was like, "Do you have kids, Taylor?" And Taylor was like, "No." "Then you could never understand. Do you have kids, Kyle?" And I went, 4.
My
You're not
wife
gonna use that shit on me.
We really don't know exactly how many.
I had names ready to rattle off. I was like, if my wife, I was going to name them after all the dogs. I was going to use the dogs' names. Yeah.
Bart, Lisa, Maggie. My wife, Morty.
King of the Hill kid. Is it Tommy?
Bobby.
Bobby. Yeah.
Bobby, Joseph, Luann, and Con. Those are my kids.
Bobby, Jr. Joseph.
That'd be funny if he
Con
like
Jr.
caught on to the
He's
ruse.
Vietnamese.
Like, what are your kids' names? Ross, Rachel, Chandler, Joey. There's 2 more.
Fucking
Monica?
Rudolph, Blitzen, Dasher, Dancer.
I kind of liked him, and I was certainly empathetic to his story. He just, It just took a little persistence sometimes to get him to go where I was trying to.
Yeah,
it's just hard with a lot of like psychedelic people to get them going in the direction you want, because a huge amount of it is saying learn to accept the things you can't control. That's the overwhelming majority of it, seemingly the core of it. And a lot of it, so he'll say that, and it's like you can see all three of us be like, yeah, that's true. Like anything that helps you accept the things you can't control. If you're 5'8" and you want to be 6'4", you got to learn to accept that. Like that's a fact. You'll be happier when you do. But then it gets backfilled with so much stuff like everything is reality and nothing is extant other than your internal human self. And it's like, okay, well, what is my internal human self if not an amalgamation of my thoughts and beliefs?
My biggest one was, he was like, everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with anyone. Everyone needs to understand that. And I was like, and the first step is doing drugs with me in Costa Rica. That's like, come on. If anybody wants to join him for drugs in Costa Rica, his link is down below. I bet you'll have a hell of a time.
I'm kind of tempted.
Maybe your wife spot a gun. Go. Maybe you don't know where it is. Maybe you
just learn to accept that.
just learn to accept that.
I want somebody to
when
write
your
like
wife has a gun and threatens to kill your kids, you go, that's life.
That one
throws you a curveball.
Go ahead, Kyle.
At what point would he not think it's a good idea to leave the country and come do drugs with him in Costa Rica? I wonder. Dear Jonathan, or whatever his name was, Michael, was it?
Michael
whatever.
Griswold.
Michael. Dear Michael, my house is currently on fire. I had thoughts of calling for assistance. My children are inside. And I realized nothing really matters. When would we head to Costa Rica? Like at what point should we actually focus on what's going on? That one was a fire. It was a fire in the kitchen. The barn's burning down in the backyard. The children are about to be killed.
Yeah, and then saying all of this stuff is nothing. It's
and that shit happens all the
meaningless.
time.
It's just thoughts. That's Woody. You're in your own head, and this and that is it. So much of it is just internal, not even internally, externally contradictory. Where it's like everything is just you in your head and nothing matters, but it matters deeply that you improve your ability to see the world in this way. And so it's your internalization of information is wrong and that needs to be fixed. Well, that's a mechanism by which you garner information. Like saying that it doesn't make sense. Nothing's wrong. That's why
though. Like I hear how it doesn't make sense. Like it's not lost on me. But here's a guy whose life mission, the focus of what he has going on seems to be inner peace. And you say accepting what you can't control. That's it, kind of. But I don't know I think it's accepting everything and embracing peace is what he's trying to do. And that is sort of compounded or connected to this idea of psychedelics, which are very difficult to explain. I don't know anyone who's gone on a trip and accurately tells somebody else what his experience was. You can get little elements of it, like your colors changed, or one time I did mushrooms and I found campfire smoke a little purplish and endlessly fascinating. I'm a little fascinated by
smells
smoke
are more
in the first
intense.
place, but it was on a whole new level where this smoke was just all I needed to enjoy my night. But by and large, people don't describe their trips very well. And that combined with this idea of accepting inner peace being so paramount was a tough message to deliver.
It is, but and I understand, I guess, the inner peace thing that he's trying to put forward. It's just,
and there's
a
given his
weird
background, why he would be like that.
Of course. Yeah. Like 100%. I get why he is that way and everything and why that works for him. It's just
what I really want to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. There's nothing meaning. Like just telling someone like none of this matters. It's all meaningless. And then going into how important it is to change your thinking in regard to these things is odd.
I think we need to circle back and just realize that we're trying to pick apart these barely cogent arguments from someone who wasn't sober and hasn't been sober in years.
Oh, you think he was high?
He's smoking weed while we watched him, and he microdoses daily, so he's high on at least 2 drugs right then, having a conversation with us.
That speaks to my lack of observation skills.
Yeah, you couldn't tell he was a little. No, yeah.
I also thought.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I did a mean thing. I may have referenced the fact that he was outside a building and that there were birds and dogs.
I was there for that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, this situation needs a little soothing.
I was looking at you when I said it. I wanted to see how you reacted. I knew Taylor was going to love it either way, but I wanted to see what you and I was like, oh, Woody's trying to chill things out. He doesn't know the guy called me smug. He'd be with me if he heard that.
Dude, I asked who the guest was, and I came a little prepared. Like, all right, I knew what he was all about. I was like, should I microdose for the show? Just a thought, just to join him. Taylor's background would have fucked me up. What is happening there? You're going from purple to blue. You are changing colors, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those lights that it rotates from purple to pink.
It's literally not. It's just auto correcting it's changing colors. You're right. There's no color. Oh, it's the PC light. That's what it is, shining back there. I did not. I forgot I had that thing.
Yeah. So your computer is just morphing its RGB, and that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I thought
there's probably a way to turn it off.
I thought it was really planned. Taylor was like, you know what?
For it.
New me, new background. We're gonna get special tonight. We're upping our production quality. I'm not gonna show up on camera with a bunch of trash in the background like some loser.
Yeah, that's so true. That's what I was doing. As I was putting in the hours, making sure that my PC was angled correctly.
On that PC, I'm sure winter clothes that need to be stored.
I bet more than life is a honey bun.
Life is a series of honey buns that don't matter.
Nothing matters and everything's all right.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Everything, Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I wanted to ask? What if something else was good? I wanted to, but I stuck.
No, I heard you with the Holocaust.
I was going to ask about a third thing that he might not think was so good that happened. But
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
we need to go there.
I'm glad you.
I had it in my back pocket though. I was ready. I wouldn't do that.
It wasn't a proportional response to smug.
I would have had to go get a soda. Like, I would have been one of those. I would have had to be like, dude, I got most of this Coke Zero left. I got to get another one.
I want to circle all the way back around to that bail hearing, because that had to be one of those moments where you're like just on the cusp of victory, and victory is snatched away, and you fall into the jaws of defeat because you were in minimum security, which wasn't fun, but not the worst scenario ever.
I was in medium.
Oh, medium. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then because of the way that bail hearing went down, and them doubling your bail essentially, because you went over a $1 million bail, you're automatically upgraded to maximum security, and that's when you got sent to the Roach Motel.
Yeah, and I've been in Towers Jail for a year. I know all the slang. I know the prison walk. So the next day when I woke up in max security, I've got to go to the white table now, the Woods, and they're going to determine now whether they're going to accept me or they're going to smash me. This is max security. They're nearly all in there for murder. There was a few crystal meth chemists. So I walk up to the table, doing the prison walk with all the slang. Like, what up, Wood? What up, Wood? Where did you roll in from, Wood?
Ahoy,
Towers Jail. They made my bail bond over $1 million, so I got reclassed to max. They're like, what are you in for, Wood? Ecstasy. So they're asking me all these questions, and I'm thinking, I'm fitting in with these guys. They're going to accept me. Then I go back to my room, and hours later, the head of the gang, he comes down with all of his legal paperwork, and he says, I want you to read this for me and tell you if this plea bargain they're offering me is reasonable. So they saw through my act and saw I was an educated person, and I was a resource to them.
That's really funny.
They can tell I knew how to read, so now I'm the professor.
British guy.
A third of the prisoners could not read or write. In max security, I set up a class for the Mexicans, teaching them how to write home in Spanish, because a lot of them worked out in the countryside and they couldn't read and write. Then the Arian Brotherhood put a green light to have me smashed for helping another race. I had an independent tough guy who was my cellmate at the time, Joe, and he intervened with the gang, and they allowed me to keep helping the Mexicans.
Sean, can you move your mic closer?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That sounds so.
That's
like,
awful.
That sounds fucking horrible. But something I want to like. So you got there, the Arians approach you in your cell, and then kind of how does that relationship go from there? Like you said, there's no turning them down. You have to kind of play the game. Were there ever times where it was like, hey, you just earned your first swastika tattoo, come on in, and you're like, no, actually, can I just get like, you know, they also used an eagle. Let's do a real generic eagle. You know, like, can you make it look like the Philadelphia Eagles?
I saw one skinhead. He had a tattoo of Hitler on his chest.
No subtlety.
Zeke Heiling over a gas chamber with Jewish people dying inside the gas chamber. Yeah. Now here's what helped me out.
Intricate.
Here's what helped me out.
Hey, Sean, can you move your mic a lot closer?
Yeah. Is it going to go over the screen now? Is that okay?
Oh, so much better. My God. Yeah.
All right, so over 100 people arrested with me, including some of my bouncers from the raves I was throwing, including my best friend from my hometown, who is a massive guy. He co-interviews people with me on my YouTube channel called Wildman. He's like the UK Joey Diaz.
Oh, I've seen that guy. Yes, he is the UK Joey Diaz.
His fists are twice the size of mine, and they're just all human teeth marks all over them. He's a good guy to get arrested with. So once the AB guys in Towers Jail found out I was with Wildman and that we were at one of the biggest crews in the jail, we had a coexistence with them, and none of our clique got smashed.
Jesus Christ.
In that first year, that was when we were all together.
I think
what was your relation to the guy with the Hitler tattoo? Was he just like, oh no, that's Alan? I think there's some other guy who's like, even Alan goes a little far for us. I mean, Hitler chose a perfectly fine signet for us to use, and he goes for the whole portrait thing. None of us are on board with that. Don't think we're all like.
Let's put it this way: when the head of the whites got moved out of our building, and there was a white boy meeting, and we had to vote on the new head of the whites, I didn't vote for that skinhead. I vote for Marco, who was out of the Italian Mafia. The Italian Mafia took over from the Arian Brotherhood in that pod, and it was the best we ever had it. Like, these guys were running the show. Outside the jail at night, when we were all locked down, when we were all supposed to be asleep, Marco was outside the jail with the guards, smoking and giving them orders. Whenever we got raided, he would find out in advance, and anything the guards took, all our bedding and everything, would get all fresh stuff from other guards, would bring it right back to us. He had a legal visit from his girlfriend. In legal visits, the guards can't watch, so his girlfriend would come in as a legal visitor and give him blowjobs in the legal visitation room. Nice. And there was like the least violence ever under Marco's rule. I wrote a whole chapter about it in Hard Time, and it was the best of the time in Towers Jail was when the Italian Mafia were running the show. But the good times never last.
the like meshing between the Italians and the Aryans, what was that like? An alliance because they're both white, or like their own interests? Like, I'm sure they had their own drug interests and stuff, right?
There was an uneasy coexistence that culminated into a full-scale semi-riot at one point, and which ended up with us all getting moved. So the Italians, you know, when people have got it good like that and they're running things, other people get jealous because people have got nothing in prison. Mm-hmm. So the Woods were getting jealous of, you know, how smoothly they were running things and all the perks they were getting. And they were always scheming, and they always had the greater numbers. We had more numbers temporarily, but in the end, Marco got moved. He got sentenced. His next in line took over. He was a Golden Gloves boxer, and he had a lot of fights in a row, and he always won. And then he fought a Rule 11 inmate called Buster Beats. Now, that means a mentally ill person, Rule 11. There was this foul meal that nobody would eat called Red Death, and this guy would just put it in plastic bags and eat it all day long. And he was my cellmate briefly as well. He like took the legs off crickets and mosquitoes and beat them with little rolled up pieces of toilet paper.
I didn't know where I was going. And there was some sort of a Pickle Rick type scenario. But he would just pull the legs off until it's a torso, and then he would beat them with a rolled up.
Yeah. And say, good mosquito, you're not going to leave me now. Things like this.
Oh shit!
He had this rap called "Dead Body Hose" about having sex with the corpses of Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all this stuff, and the prisoners would always make him do it. But anyway, the Golden Gloves boxer Nick, he ended up in a fight with Buster Beats. Buster Beats, these Rule 11 guys, they've got this crazy strength. He kept like Marco. The Golden Gloves guy Nick just kept beating the shit out of Buster Beats, and he'd say like, "I give up, I give up." He'd go to leave the cell. Buster Beats would like jump back up, bounce off the wall like Spider-Man, jump on Nick's back. And this went on for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and Nick's like just punch. He's got him against the wall, just punch. I think he's gonna kill this guy. And Nick, his hand, he broke his knuckle. His hand swelled up like the size of a grapefruit. Pieces of teeth of both of them had come off. And after that, Nick said, "Look, I'm sick of being the head of the whites." He was sick of fighting all the time.
And he was disillusioned from being the retarded man. He was like, I don't even know what this is all about anymore.
The sad thing was, my people on the outside and Nick's people on the outside, we were trying to help him. We were trying to locate his step parents to try and get him some assistance. So,
oh yeah, they want him back.
He starts a different gang, and he's like, "I know you're not a chomo, but are you a chromo?" And then they start gathering up his own Rule 11 gang. So I assume that Buster was not invited to any of the gangs. They're like, "I know you're white, Buster, but you can't."
No, he was Chicano. He was Chicano.
Oh, Chicano. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that sounds kind of funny. I like this one. Get sent back to the 1800s. This is once again from the AMAs. Get sent back to the 1800s, and you can take 3 items with you. And what would you do for money? So what are your 3 items, and then what do you do for money? I assume all of us will choose to rob.
My first thought was woodworking. I used to do a little of that. I feel like I could get back at it.
No,
the 1800s?
A trade that other people are already doing there.
Other people are already robbing Taylor.
Yeah, but not with a Gatling gun.
Okay. I don't know why you had to go to the Gatling. There are better guns now.
Well, whatever the best gun is what I'm bringing them.
You want the best gun from now, not the best gun from then. Come on.
Right. Well, we've both answered poorly. So I'm just trying to think. What could you bring? If you bring back something too fancy, you're going to get burnt at the stake or killed, and they're just going to steal it from you. So it can't be over the top too fancy. So what do you fucking need? I would imagine you need some.
It can't wear out too much, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know. I'll bring a good lighter. Well, fuck. That'll last you a week, and then what's your plan? Like, why is that's a stupid thing to bring? And probably lighters exist in the 1800s.
They do.
Yeah, they got fire.
Right? Yeah. This is not dinosaur time.
Yeah, down pat.
I mean, also, does it just say the 1800s, like broadly?
Let's say, the year 1800. We'll say the U.S. is a fresh nation.
Oh, you know what would be smart to bring? Like Encyclopedia Britannica or something. Like that would have a lot of useful information in it.
That would be. And you could not, I like this. That's a good one.
I really like. Fuck, you could like invent gasoline or something with the knowledge that's in there. I don't know if that exists in the 1800s, but like, there's a whole lot of shit that you'd have figured out that you could. Fuck, how do you more efficiently mine for coal? Like, oh shit, check this out.
You figure out everything. You could be the greatest. You could be a real Edison and steal the valor of hundreds of inventors who are not even born yet. You're inventing the light bulb. You're inventing the correct kind of fuel, antibiotics, all sorts of shit. I'm not smart enough for that, even with a book. I guess they just made mold, right? So that's my understanding of it.
Yeah. Some of them you could make, right? Like even if you can't cure malaria, you can invent penicillin, or maybe
telling people that germs are a thing. That's pretty impressive.
Expose that fraud, Helen Keller. When was she?
I would be like, hey, everyone, there's going to be some lying cunt coming out about 70 years from now. Do not believe her lies.
I think I would just pick some inventions from the the 1800s that clearly the materials were there and the engineering was there, but just the idea hadn't come up yet. And I'd bring some models of them back. Like I'm pretty sure the locomotive, like the steam engine, was invented in the 1800s, like early 1800s. Like just bring like a model steam engine back, and you'll be the richest man on the planet right away.
Yeah.
Because
or like a cotton gin schematic.
I don't know why my head went straight to the tattoo gun.
How do you not remember when the cotton gin was invented from history class? You know so many useless things.
Why was it not 1800?
No, it was like 1790. I mean, I don't know exactly.
There's no way to know. I'm not doing it.
I'm looking it up.
Eli Whitney. Eli Whitney.
Don't think I can't spot your bait.
1801.
Bullshit.
It's 1793.
I knew it.
Oh fuck! I bought it. I'm telling you, got me.
Damn it! Fuck! All right, so that would have been so funny. I'm like, hey, everybody,
check this out, everyone.
If you just lied to get to,
I guess someone's gonna knock your socks off, and they're like, hey, this is like a shitty version of what that other guy Eli Whitney made. It's like, fuck. Well, what else could it be? The better cotton gin.
The diesel tractor?
Diesel tractor, train stuff.
The diesel tractor? We're going with like...
We're replacing horses here. We're doing good shit. Well, they had steam engines. What's next?
They didn't yet. That's why I'm saying. We're inventing
They didn't have steam engines.
1804.
Where did we get 1804? Not in the question.
Taylor, I asked, like, what year? And Taylor said 1800 exactly.
I wasn't here for that.
You were sitting right there.
I don't know. I would remember.
Literally.
Like nope.
I mean, well, I'm pretty sure the internal combustion engine was probably invented in like 1885, 1895, in that period.
Inventions of the
I love that Taylor's our new fact checker. This is the greatest transition in Painkiller already.
When was the internal combustion engine invented? I'm saying 1885 to 1895.
There's a lot of inventions here. Internal combustion engine. I have to search that up too.
What is an internal combustion engine? Because that to me means gas, but I think it means diesel is a steam engine and an ice.
1872.
No, steam is not.
It's
1872.
I guess it's not combustion, is it? Yeah, it's just an expansion type thing. But diesel probably is.
There's a lot of stuff to steal here.
Yeah, but what do you need? So it combusts because I'm sure you know this. It pressurizes the vaporized diesel fuel until it spontaneously combusts from the pressure. But back then, like, what would have created there's no electric starter or anything to like get it going. So I don't know how that would work. You'd need like
I want to say the first, like these old tractors. I watch videos of people starting very old tractors, and they wind a flywheel up and like put energy into it. So they're not turning the engine; they're turning like a spring, a flywheel. Like it's not a flywheel; it's just a weighted wheel that eventually like goes right. Mm-hmm. This is like they're pre-winding a spring to create tension, and then they kick it off, and it initiates the engine.
It takes off, and there's a lot of gears there, a lot of gear ratio. That's interesting,
Kyle. So you could bring a schematic for the Colt breech loading revolver and invent that in the year 1800 instead of 1836 when that bastard Samuel Colt invented it. So
yeah, I'm sure that won't ruin the world.
Revolver.
Let's give people fucking a much more efficient way to kill 35 years earlier.
Damn, they invented steam engines before this motherfucker invented toy balloons.
You could have given the South better weaponry for the Civil War. That would help the bad guys win.
The microphone.
I'm not touching that. It's too soon.
Too soon.
All right, so we're all stuck on the invention thing now because that's clearly the right move. Every time I'm asked a question about the past, I always have it in my head where it's like, haha, you'll be the only one with the guns, but it's like, oh no, that's not far back enough. Some motherfucker with a Colt breech-loading revolver is gonna cap my ass while I'm walking up there dressed like a juggernaut from Modern Warfare 2.
Every time I hear a question about the past, I think, aha, you're a genius by 1800 standards. Your knowledge of efficient Google searches and, I don't know, GPS systems will blow them away. Like, actually, Woody, most of your knowledge is kind of worthless.
I mean,
you can sharpen a blade. That's a cool thing. I guess.
I mean, if you go back far enough, your ability to read and write are pretty important. That's going to set your education is going to put you really, really far ahead of a lot of people. If you want to just, you just forge yourself I would say, as a fake doctor, I know more than a real doctor from the 1600s.
Maybe, right?
Oh, I could definitely riff better than a doctor from the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? Oh, demonic influence. Clearly.
He's got blood ghosts.
Blood ghosts. Demonic influence.
Get them out of there. They're spooky.
All right, you're going to take 2 spoonfuls of hot lead daily, and by the time you die, I will be far out of town.
How much mercury do you have in the home, ma'am?
About 1800 cc. Oh, that's not enough mercury.
So I see your husband's right leg is terribly swollen, so we're going to inject his left leg with 1800 cc's of mercury, and then they'll match.
And you know, back in the day, even those doctors were like, can you believe just a few hundred years ago they were wearing those crazy bird masks? Anyway, it's in the bloody water. I got to clean up. Like, no, not the pit. Well, you can piss it in if you want. It's fine. We don't know what germs are.
I mean, piss is sterile.
Nightingale hasn't ruined our
sterile though.
It's sterile.
Taylor, can you fact check it and see if piss is actually sterile?
It's not. Not sterile. And here we were talking about bringing blueprints.
I've Googled it. So many people say it's sterile because they saw it on Fight Club. I think it's not.
Urine is sterile. First thing that happened when I Googled it. Urine is sterile because it contains no living organisms.
But that doesn't mean if it's pissed into a water pot with blood and shit that it remains sterile.
I don't know why we have to have blood and shit. We're talking about urine. You can.
Oh, I was talking about the old doctors joking around them.
So am I. They can piss. You can piss right into that thing. You can wash your hands with piss and perform surgery. Nothing bad will happen.
What's your eye doctor's name? I'm gonna give him a call.
I'd rather not say.
Hey, he wants to. This is what we call a social experiment.
Somebody's gonna call like the night before my appointment. Like, hey doc, it's Kyle. I changed my mind. Just take the eye.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about this tomorrow. I'm real nervous.
Real scared. We got you. The ultimate prank.
Guys, we pranked Kyle. He's a Cyclops now. High five.
I'm just Johnny Knoxville, and this is steal your friend's eye. This is sneak into your doctor's office and change the file before your friends find out.
Urine is not sterile. Use of enhanced urine culture techniques to detect resident bacteria flora in the adult female bladder. From the Journal of Clinical Microbiology. Urine is not sterile, neither is the rest of you. From Science News. Urine not sterile, from Popular Science.
I just copy
Urine
pasted.
isn't actually sterile, from the Smithsonian.
Now, Steve, you got to eat the eye. Eat the eye. Eat the eye. Oh, blah, blah. The vomiting on your eye. Oh, good idea.
I do see your result from The Guardian, from Peter Lund, University of Birmingham. But
So the reason urine isn't sterile, according to this, is that sometimes people have bacterial infections, like bladder infections, and it touches your penis.
Even your
and I think the real issue is that
less bacteria in urine than tap water.
And the real issue,
drink piss.
And look, the internet is sexist. We all know this. What they're not telling you there, Woody, they're acting like all urine is created equal. False. Male urine is virtually sterile. Female urine is hitting all kinds of shit on the way out.
LiveScience.com confirmed urine is not sterile. Like I feel like I've got source after source. Science says no, urine is not standard. From Ripley's Believe It or Not. I mean, that has to be true.
Well, if Ripley says so, then I'm sold.
Have you ever gone
the clevelandclinic.org, urine isn't sterile. I could go on and on.
Please do.
I'm not gonna. It's enough.
I need at least
urine
5
is
more.
not sterile, not even in the bladder, which blows apart the girl stuff.
It's just all of this is like all of my results are different. I think I've got better Google than you. You're using Bing. What is Binging everybody?
Well,
that's what's happening here.
If you use Google, you don't get pictures of urine. So
Woody's looking at pee porn websites right now. That's where he's getting this from.
Google is urine sterile. Decide for yourselves. That's it. No more fact checking for me, you guys.
Yes.
You
do your research on urine. I want a thesis from each and every one of you by next Thursday. I need nitty-gritty details and at least 5 sources.
None of them can be Fight Club.
Works cited page.
Fight Club is absolutely a source.
That's true. Fincher wouldn't lie to us.
See, Chiz is on board with me. He says if you can get it from the bladder, drink up. The real issue is it touching the tip of your penis on the way out. If you piss hard enough, then it won't even touch that. Your pee hole is just like and it's just not touching anything on the way out. It's that lady pee that you got to avoid.
Urine's
folks.
not sterile even in the bladder, but okay.
And another win in the man
If they have
tally.
bacterial infections, there's no. It's sterile.
You're right. There's no bacteria in our bodies.
Only good bacteria.
Okay.
Probiotics to get more good germs.
I take a probiotic. Yeah.
Yeah. I just eat dirt.
So I haven't
That
figured
does
out how
too.
to make money in the 1800s without a lot of sweat equity, and there has to be a better way. You guys have come up with the invention thing. You really want to run your own business? That's a pain in the ass. I maybe I could be a professor or something and just talk about shit I already know.
I mean, you could invest in things, right? Like you don't even have to be the inventor. You could just invest in the companies. You could buy the land where oil deposits are, gold deposits are, uranium deposits are. If you've traveled back in time via some sort of time machine, let's just say, then you could go back in time, work as a goddamn coal miner till you got yourself $100, invest it, just throw it in a savings account, like go back in the future, pull the money out, and now you've got future millions where you don't have to smell like a piece of shit all day.
1800s money. I'm not sure. I had to think about how to get around that. You know, how to invest my here it is. They're like, dude, there's a picture of Lincoln on this. That's not.
Oh, well, you'd want to take material back, like gold.
That might work. Yeah. And the 3
or silver. Silver would be the way to go because silver was much more valuable back then, and now it's like nothing.
I didn't expect that. Really? Silver was more valuable than gold in the 1800s?
No, not more valuable than gold, but gold is still valuable today, and silver not so much.
I see. We'd be buying low, selling high.
And taking advantage of inflation simultaneously.
Yeah. Dude, I think the real idea is to put some money in a trust of some sort, have it grow, and then come back. Getting rich
Back to the
is
Future style.
incredibly easy. Getting rich in any kind of short human lifetime is hard. If I was a vampire, fuck. Put like $1,000 in the S&P 500, come back in 500 years. You'll be great.
You know, Ben Franklin did that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yes, Ben, the city of Philadelphia. I remember.
Ben Franklin, I don't recall the dollar amount, but let's just say he took $1,000 and he put it into a savings account or a trust or something like that, and it could only be withdrawn in like the year 2010. And he left it to the city of Philadelphia.
I think so.
And something else. He did 2 deposits, and when withdrawn, it was like $4 million, $5 million or something.
That's insane.
That's good, but not like, I don't think the city was like, hoo-hoo, our budget problems are solved with $4 million.
It was more like Ben Franklin probably being like, dude, guys, this is pretty cool. Doing
The
that.
man invented electricity.
I wonder how much he put in. Like, could I do something similar? Just be like, and become famous in the year 3010?
Yes.
You know, Woody did that. Woody put aside $25 into the S&P 500.
25 American dollars?
2020, yeah. And now in 3010, we've got an amount that the city barely gives a fuck about, but it seems it would be a lot for you.
1,000 years from now, I think any of the countries are still going to be around.
I don't either.
Mixed and matched. I mean, maybe some of the long-standing ones will still be there. China.
I don't think so.
they've been around forever. Egypt, I don't know. Egypt, probably not. They've had their run for a few thousand years.
I feel like I'd be looking at the ones with geographic advantages. Like America has a nice thing in that we're kind of friends with our northern neighbors and usually with our southern ones. And after that, it's hard to attack. Like you're at a real disadvantage trying to come across the ocean and get us.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1,000 years, that might not be so difficult. They'll just beam over.
Strong point. I don't know about beaming, but it'll be a smaller world for sure. Taylor, I didn't hear your words.
We can beam them right back. Mutually assured destruction.
just people getting really dizzy. Like, fuck, never mind.
Oh, I hate this. Yeah.
We did not answer this question, but maybe
I think
move on.
we nailed that question to the fucking wall.
Okay.
We named so many ways to go back in time and make money, from inventions to prospecting to investment to buying land that had natural resources on them that we only know about because of our future knowledge. Like that's a big one. Like
no,
knowing
that's all gay. I'm robbing banks with a Gatling gun.
Knowing where gold, platinum, precious metals in general, gemstones, things like that, oil, natural resources are going to be, like, without the huge amount of either luck or mining that went into place to like find those deposits. It's a gargantuan
1800s
advantage.
is the problem. Make it 1900s, and I do the Back to the Future betting book thing. That's the item I'd take with me. I just bet on sports. The luckiest man. I'd be Biff, whatever his name was.
Yeah. The sports almanac.
Mm-hmm.
Except you'd be like doing whatever, like stupid sports from that time, where it'd be like, I know who's going to win the world hitting the hoop with a stick championship, and then the silly bike races on your penny farthings. Oh, I know who's going to win.
Take it from me.
Sports probably sucked up until like 1920, right?
Like what sport do it full time? Baseball, I think, was pretty big around then. 1920. You said up until 1920. I think like 27 Yankees. I think some extraordinary ones count as baseball better than me.
If God himself or herself could come down from.
No, you've lost me.
God is.
I was all on board for the last 10 minutes of that. Every step of the way, I was with you and understanding every coherent word that you put out there. But when you suggested that the Almighty might be female, please, sir.
Oh, okay.
God is a spirit. He doesn't have a dick or a pussy. He's just kind of out there.
No, he's got a dick. I've seen paintings.
He's got a dick.
He's got a dick when he's human.
And it's
otherwise,
circumcised.
No. You guys have never taken heroin, have you? Because if you have taken fucking heroin, within a minute, God comes down from heaven and plants a fucking kiss.
Wait, and he had a vagina?
Man, heroin sounds pretty fun.
Oh, please, fuck me. You guys have never taken heroin?
I haven't.
No,
everybody knows God.
People call me a bit of a square because of it. we're very square.
No, okay, so
God.
God.
I wanted to ask about your drug use with this, apparently in 2010, you were like oh, go ahead.
No, not. No. There's somehow I want to know about God. We just skipped over one of the most fundamental precepts of our perceptions of reality.
By all means, dig in. What's going on in the bowels of this?
Well, God is trisexual, number one. And we all know that. I mean, those of us who've taken heroin certainly know that. I mean,
what's the third sex?
What?
Did you say trisexual?
He did.
He did.
Sexual, of course. Oh, okay. Male, female, and she-male. I mean, good God, people. What, have you never watched fucking Pornhub?
Yeah, I walked right into
Okay, now you're delving into my area of expertise. Go on.
Our time is limited because I don't know if any of you have ever noticed, my wife is black. Anybody who've ever married or even lived with a black woman, they are the best fucking mothers on the goddamn planet. However, every living, moving thing is one of two things: mother, father, or children.
So three things.
Or she-male.
No, it's not. No. I'm a child to my wife, and therefore, when she comes in and goes, it means you got 10 seconds to ask your last question. But anyway, we're not there yet.
Good. Good.
Good. I'm very, very thankful to hear that. So something I was reading about, lots of content about you out there. Is it true that up until about 2010, you were a sober guy, yoga, fitness kind of guy, and then you started experimenting with I was seeing some articles talking about bath salts and some drug called alpha PHP that you were messing around with, keeping you functioning on a high level. Is there any truth to that, or is that just the media pumping your tires?
There's a lot of truth to that. But of that's the issue. Okay. Dates, fuck me, I don't know what the date is. 210, 28, 25, 215.
Are we going with the year now, or?
I don't know.
The end of May.
May and listen, dude, wherever you got that information, if it did come from God, I want his fucking phone number. I've got complaints. His fucking complaints for God. But anyway, so now, so sometime between 2004 and 2012, I mean, I had been sober and clean for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Too fucking long, to be honest with you people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too fucking long. Because before I cleaned up, showered off, and stopped ingesting anything other than raw fucking vegetables. I mean, I had taken more drugs than you three motherfuckers could carry. I'll tell you that.
I don't doubt it.
Saying I know it is a fucking fact. Especially if you count weed. It would take 10 of you just to carry the weed.
Wait! I don't know if you know who you're talking to. We have an Olympic level smoker on our team as well.
Yeah, but he can do 10 times as much heroin as you, bitch.
Yes, he can.
That you cannot, my friend.
I will.
What's the most fun drug that you've done? What's the one that you can't stop coming back?
What does that mean, most fun drug? I mean, is it the most fun in terms of enhancing sexuality?
No. The one.
Whoa. Let me finish. Is it the most fun? Is it the most fun in terms of getting deep into that hellish introspection space where you finally see yourself? Is it the most fun in terms of being able to stay up for 3 goddamned weeks? I don't know. You gotta fucking tell me, dude.
I've got a question. Let me.
What's the most fun drug? I go, okay, I'm with amateurs again.
John, you are with amateurs. I'm with you. Let me ask this. Joe Rogan describes DMT as this like almost permanent upgrade to your character if you're in a video game. You just get a little smarter, you get a little introspective and more creative. Is this like permanent improvement to you? Have you tried DMT? What drug would you suggest for that effect?
Fuck, I've had enough DMT to put you guys in the hospital.
Okay, I believe you.
No, he's wrong.
Okay,
I think Joe is demonstrating a naivete about drugs that comes when you discover drugs past the age of 25. Because really, if you don't discover them before 25, then it's too late. You're a follower. If before 25, you're a leader. Do you understand? I'm just saying. So he's a follower.
The younger, the better, I say.
Oh, absolutely. No. Yes.
Are you still talking about drugs?
Yes. Age for MD, I was 19. The best age for MDPV is at least 22, maybe 23. I'm just saying.
Can you explain what MDPE does? What that is?
MDPV? Methylene dioxy pyrovalerone. That's MDPV. Well, now I'm sure that you read in newspapers or saw on the TV 6 years ago where, a nice, polite gentleman in Miami just randomly grabbed a stranger and ate his face. Remember that?
I heard that. Yeah.
Zombie.
Yes. That's methylene dioxy pyrovalerone. That's what he was on. Now, what was his problem?
Hungry.
Here is the fundamental problem with MDPV.
Uh-huh.
If you don't have a $5,000 scale, don't go anywhere near it. because you've got to measure it to the 5 microgram level in order to stay safe. Because here's what happens.
Ooh.
It's 1 milligram per 11.3 kilograms of body weight measured naked, not wet, on a fucking scale that you know is precise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, let's just say the end result is 5 milligrams. You take 4.9 milligrams. What's going to happen? Nothing. You're going to feel jack fucking shit, like you've been ripped off.
Huh.
You take 5.1 milligrams. What's going to happen? You're going to eat somebody's fucking face. No, that's MDPV. So I have taken kilograms of MDPV over the years. It's number one, the most powerful drug ever invented. If you get the dosage right, I've come close on either end a bunch of times. I've had more trips that did nothing, and a few trips that almost made me think, you know what? Reasonable people would eat other people's faces off. I mean, that's almost as close as I got.
So does that make you feel really energized and you're staying up fucking for days, or is it making you feel enlightened, introspective? How's this drug making you feel when you're doing it at just the right dose?
All of the above.
All of it.
Oh,
okay.
One, MDPV is the only drug I've ever experienced that provides tactile hallucinations. No, I mean, I became a master at getting my dosage right, and I was in Colorado one time, and I went to the bank after snorting my exact fucking dosage to the goddamn microgram. Why I had a $5,000 scale. I ain't fucking this drug up. So now I'm standing in line, and I just know there's some bitch sucking my dick. I feel it. around my thighs, okay, near my butt, pulling me into her, and she's sucking like mad. I know I'm going to come any second. I'm looking down. My dick is like 9 feet long, but there ain't nobody there. Nobody is there, and
I need a better scale.
I'm sorry.
I need a better scale. I'm going to get started.
It was the perfect dosage, I'm telling you. No, not just that. Auditory hallucinations you can't fucking believe. First thing is, everybody, if you get the dosage right on the first trip, who is it that talks to you? You. Whose voice is it? Yours.
Ah.
Whose inflection? Yours. Whose knowledge? Because the voice is telling you shit that you've forgotten. And you're about to enter a nightclub, and your own voice is telling you shit that you forgot during some drug binge in Cincinnati. So that was it. You asked me.
Interesting.
You know, I thought we were going to be talking about antivirus, but this is much more entertaining.
No, you got to ask. You got to ask it. And something else I want to know is you're very open on your Twitter account, you know, with your drug habits and with some sexual things as well. Do you think that it was some of these drugs you took that kind of maybe opened your eyes to how pleasurable a glass bottom boat is? Or being, I know you trend toward a couple scatological things. Is that something that you were interested in prior to the drugs? Or is that just a joke you tell sometimes?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm not sure what specific details you're discussing.
Do you like getting shit on?
No, absolutely not. I mean, number one, I don't like the smell. If you guys tried it, it's difficult.
I was just checking. I thought you were a weirdo for a moment.
Oh, believe me, I'm far more weird than that.
All right, what is this one? Hold on. Is the FPS Russian?
Hello, my friends. It's FPSRussia again, and I've been watching this television show.
Time out. Hold on. So when I was on the last episode, I remember this nigga saying, I have a YouTube gun channel. Is this what he's talking about? So he has a YouTube gun account where he pretends he's Russian. What the fuck? Somebody go, but why? Why, my nigga? What is the what the fuck? All right, let's wait for Taylor.
Oh, okay.
And then until then, I can give me a gun question. Because you said you like a gun. Are you an aficionado or like?
Yeah,
it sounds like you like guns.
Yeah, I ran the biggest gun YouTube channel in the world for years. I owned well over 100 guns. I don't like to use the word expert, but I'm pretty well versed.
Got you. Okay, so is there a way to get a gun online?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how do
so
I
you're
do
gonna want to, you have to go through your local gun store or get yourself a federal firearms license so that you are in fact a store if you wanted it like directly mailed to you. What there isn't, and this is one of those political hot button issues, people talk about online gun sales and how there's no background check, and that's just a lie that people tell. What happens when you buy a gun online is they ask you for your, what dealer do we need to mail this to? And then they mail the gun to your local dealer, your local gun store. And then you go into that gun store and you're like, hey, is the gun here? And they're like, yeah, this one's for you, Bill. Just fill out your background check, show me your identification, we'll run your paperwork, we'll handle the transaction, and we're done. The reason to buy guns online is if you're getting a good price, like better than you'd get in a gun store, or if you're buying like a used firearm from another individual. Like if I wanted to sell you a gun, not me because I can't anymore, but if Woody wanted to sell you a gun, the
purely hypothetical.
Yeah, if you guys were in the same room, you could just give him $500 and he could hand you the firearm, and that's perfectly legal. But if you wanted to do some shipping, then you would give him your local gun store's information, just their address and all that stuff, and he would go to his gun store, and they would mail the gun, through UPS to the gun store, and you'd go in there, fill the paperwork out, and they'd handle the transaction for you.
So is there places like, because you hear this all the time, because I don't know shit about guns. I don't know nothing. I could shoot. Like I went to firearms, the range a couple times. I have a Glock 40, but I don't ever touch it. It's just in case some shit pop off. That's it. But I want something a little more powerful than a Glock 40 in case some shit pop off. And so
like a long gun?
Yeah, like some kind of something that'll really, you know what I mean?
Woody and I are going to be on the same. Woody and I are going to pretty much agree completely on that, I would guess, and that's a shotgun, a 12-gauge shotgun, probably a pump action because they're 100% reliable. And at that point, there are really only two options. They're both about $350 to $500, and that would be a Remington 870, which is my preferred ergonomic setup, or the Mossberg 500, I guess. They're both ultra reliable 12-gauge pump action shotguns. With a shotgun, it's just going to instantly kill anyone that's in your home if you're shooting buckshot or something like that.
Remington 870, you said?
Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds.
Or Mossberg 500. Is that the other one you like?
Yeah, I would prefer the Remington 870. I like where the safety is on that one, and I like where the pump release is located on that one. They're just more ergonomic for me, and it's what I grew up with. But those things are $300 to $500 depending on which one you get. And there's some of them that are made for bird hunting. There are some of them that are made for like turkey hunting, which is a different kind of bird hunting and requires a different kind of firearm. And then there are tactical and self-defense models. And but if you're talking about something that you could just put in the closet, and if some dude broke into your house, you'd feel 1,000% secure that like it don't matter what he's on, it doesn't matter how many weights he pumped before he got there, it doesn't matter if he's on meth and steroids and he's mad and he wants to get you. If you shoot somebody in the same room as you with a 12-gauge shotgun, it's going to fucking destroy them. Whereas with a pistol, maybe not so much. A crazy guy.
What's the range on a shotgun?
It's a lot farther than you would think based on movies and video games.
Video games is not good because I run around with this shotgun in Valorant and be getting toe up.
Yeah, at 50 yards, you'd still kill a person with
50 yards.
Farther than that,
that's
really.
more than enough for me then.
And if you were shooting like slugs, 100 yards, they'll really reach out and touch stuff because at the end of the day, it's shooting a handful of like 30 caliber balls at 1,300 feet per second, and they're not going to slow down to like slow down that much at 50 yards, 100 yards. They're still going. If you hit the person, it's going to fuck them up. I've seen a lot of people get shot in the bird field with like bird shot, which is little bitty pellets, like they pale in comparison to like buckshot, which is legit. And it goes way into their skin at like 60, 70 yards. Like it fucks people up.
Jesus.
But I get something like that.
Why
Yeah,
online,
this
Arian? What attracted you to doing it online?
I don't like people that much.
Mhm.
So I mean, I guess, but I guess I still have to go out and go to the gun store then.
What state are you in?
Texas.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. Go to the gas station. They got one there. Texas, dude. Texas? Are you kidding me? Go to a gun show. Fuck everything else. Find a big gun show.
So you can just go, I can just go buy one and just walk up and get one.
Yeah, it'll be no big deal. I mean, you fill out a little background check form, which is like basic information. So I think maybe your social security. If you had a concealed carry permit, which depending on the state, there's different requirements to get them. In Georgia, if you want a concealed carry permit, you give them like $50 and your thumbprint, and they're like, here you go. And they give you a fucking concealed carry permit. In North Carolina, where Woody is, he had to go through like a class where you prove some proficiency.
I think you got to take a class here. You got to take a class.
It's worth having. It's worth having one of those. Like having one of those. For one thing, the biggest thing for me, because I used to buy so many guns, you don't even have to do that background check anymore. Because just having that concealed carry permit proves that you're legit. So you can just be like, yeah, I got one of these. It's like, oh, all right, well, I'll just use that then. They don't even have to run your info anymore. But
and you can just walk up to the counter and grab one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want to do.
There's no waiting period. There's no like, not in Texas. There's no and it won't take long either. By the time you've like picked your gun out, like they'll be running your information and you can go pick out what kind of shotgun shells you want. And by the time you've got those picked out and paid for, you'll be done. Like it's 10 minutes.
The only thing I was gonna add, so if you buy it online, it's probably not important to you. They charge an extra like $15 or $35 ish for your local store to do the background check. If you buy locally, usually that's free.
Yeah. They'll often call it a transfer fee or something like that. It's just something to. It's just so that they're getting paid for something, right? Because like they're handling all the paperwork and they are doing the transaction. And if you bought it from somebody else, they become an unpaid middleman, and they don't like that.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah, or else they would do it. Yeah, it'd be free.
The only other thing, I have a Remington 870, but mine's the Marine one, which is cool because it's silver.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. The different kinds of them, like there's some of them that like look cooler than others.
The Marine.
Definitely, I was looking at some of them. Some look like old as shit, but some of them got that.
Check out the Marine one.
Kinda.
It's two things. One, it's a little shorter. I guess so you could use it inside your small yacht, and also it's rust resistant, and I think it looks cool.
It does look cool. That's a cool one. And then like, I would add a flashlight to that motherfucker that you flick on with by just squeezing one of your hands in its natural firing position. And you can get this little thing that goes on the stock that'll hold like 5 to 8 shotgun shells extra, and you'll be a lethal motherfucker.
So what about the TAC, like TAC 14? I'm looking at it.
It's probably got some sort of like AR.
It's just like it doesn't have like a like the shoulder thing, like when you like where you push it in your shoulder. It's more of like a handheld kind of feel.
I don't do that. No, don't do that.
Okay, don't do that.
No, you want to stock. This is like some movie gun bullshit right here. This is like, if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe rock one of these on your motorbike, but you don't want that. No, you want to stock. You want to get that thing, because I mean you're a big dude anyway, but like the first time you shoot it, it's still gonna kind of kick you a little bit because you've never done it before.
Right.
But like once you like get used to it, like I can shoot one in each hand. I can do some silly stuff with them, and I'm not all that strong.
And the other thing, of course, Kyle knows this, but when you first get a pump shotgun, shoot it a little bit and get used to it. When I was brand new to it, I made a mistake. I think it's Kyle helped me. Short shucking. And the pump, you got to pull it all the way back and push it all the way forward. And it's best if you do it like a man, like boom, boom, like get it all the way back, all the way forward.
Right.
If you go halfway or maybe you're a little sissy on it, then you can introduce unreliability. So
yeah, you got to build a little muscle memory. It was kind of foreign to me because I was shooting one of these things when I was 7 years old. So like I couldn't understand that, but it's definitely, yeah. The one Woody's got is like $850.
Is it? Okay.
$880, I think. Like here's.
I think it was cheaper in the day.
You could probably find it cheaper. And another thing is used guns is it's not like used cars. There's so few moving parts, and guns are so reliable. And oftentimes people don't to wear. I've never heard of people wearing guns out. Like it's just not a thing. Like my dad has an 870 that the one I'm talking about that I shot when I was 7. He still got it. It's an 870 Wingmaster that he bought when he was 25 years old, and he's still got. And he's 65 now, and it works fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a little rusty. It's a little scratched up, but it's going to work every fucking time you pump it. And I'm telling you, there's nothing more lethal inside a house and nothing easier to shoot as far as hitting a man-sized target at medium ranges, because it's going to shoot a kind of a spread of pellets.
So what kind of like AR would you recommend?
So it depends on price point, but for like $1,000, you can get anything you want. There's a lot of AR companies, right? Like Daniel Defense are good. Noveski is good. It just depends what you want your AR-15 to do. If you're going to go to the range and shoot paper with it, who cares? If you're going to like go to like bench rest competitions or 3-gun competitions, you need a lot. You might need some fancy attachments.
I just want to encase some shit pop off. I just want one of those.
Yeah, you can get that done for like $650, $750. I would just get like a Smith & Wesson. I don't know. Smith & Wesson is good. Daniel Defense is quite good.
So this sounds like an indoor gun, Kyle. What would you do for a sight?
Red dot.
Red dot. Okay.
I get a red dot personally.
Well, I was asking the thought process. I have a red dot on mine, but if I haven't touched it for a while, the battery can be dead. And that sounds like a spot Arian could be in 2026 or something.
It depends on shit. It depends on optics. like I'm definitely not an optics expert or anything, but there are optics that use iridium, which is a radioactive element. So there is no battery really, and they'll just stay lit forever. Like literally. Well, there's a half-life of, I don't remember what it is, but it's like a half-life of literally like 800,000 years or something like that. Like will be good for the foreseeable future of the planet. The gun will turn to dust before the sight stops working.
The Earth will hit the sun before the sight stops working.
And the other thing is, man, like if you really think about the nuts and bolts of having a gun battle inside your fucking house, are you really going to be aiming? This ain't Call of Duty. You're going to spray that motherfucker down. You're gonna start shooting, and
I was Valorant training, man. Crosshairs be up, dog.
Like you ever play paintball or airsoft or anything like that,
bro? Yes.
Oh,
I mean, if you've ever run up on somebody,
shit hurts, dog.
Like when I run up on somebody,
tell you that like that.
And airsoft,
Thanks,
there's no aiming. It's just like,
yeah, you spraying. Yeah, you spray.
All right, so I went up to Wings of Redemption's place the other day to get his photographs for the hot sauce bottles, the Wings of Redemption, the hot Wings of Redemption hot sauce, and I knew I was getting close when I saw the Civil War reenactors out in the field. They had a real battle going on out there, and I could tell the South was winning. They were really chasing those youngsters off
honestly,
the field.
I don't think that's not that uncommon. They recreate battles.
They only do those
have
battles.
The South win. I've heard of that. Yeah. How sad is
it's
that?
Like Gettysburg. It's like Gettysburg 2. The South is stomping their asses. Like, we got this time. So I get past the Civil War reenactors and I pull up in his yard. And his mom and a couple other people are over on Gangster Grandma's porch. And she kind of comes over, says, "You looking for Jordy?" And I'm like, yeah, where's he at? She's like, "He's in there in his room." So I walk into the house and I can see him kind of in his office there. And I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of sitting at his desk. I assume he's playing a video game. But no, he's doing a live podcast. He doesn't tell me this, of course. I just become a part of the live podcast. I come in and so then we went and took a lot of photos, took photographs and stuff. That's a stink bug, I think.
It is.
But I got the pictures for the hot sauce bottle. and hung out with Wings for probably an hour, and then turned around and came back. So I was driving all day and all night.
That's way
I didn't
shorter
stay very
than I
long.
thought.
Well, yeah. See, it's like 5.5 hours up there, and then 5.5 hours back.
Well, I figured
So
you'd
if
stay
you're
there. Maybe like make a pillow fort and just chit chat for a while. Girl talk. Brushes.
Maybe just. I certainly didn't want to impose upon Wings and stay over there, and I didn't really want to get a hotel. I knew my girlfriend preferred if I came home that night, and I preferred it that way too. My Casper mattress was waiting on me back home. I wanted to get on that. So what did happen though was Wings at some point was like, I think I either said to him or he said to me, I was like, you should come to my house at some point and we should shoot, or we should blow some stuff up or something like that and have some fun. And he was like, well, I was thinking I'd just come for a week. And I was like, all right then. So it looks like Wings is going to come stay at my house for a week at some point coming up fairly soon. So I think he's a little stressed out with the way things are going back home. And he's not, whatever, a little stressed out by all that stuff. So I think he might come stay with me for a week at some point in the upcoming future. We haven't nailed down a date, but you could bet that we'll film some of that. There's no reason not to. If he's here, I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity, and I'll film some of him hanging out. So that'll be fun.
Did you and Wings do anything fun for your hour together?
Flamethrower.
We took a lot of pictures. He shot me flamethrower at some hot wings. I was kind of doing this bit where he's cooking the hot wings of redemption with a flamethrower. So he's got like the pan of raw wings and he's flamethrowing them, and then you reveal the cooked wings. We'll see how good that footage comes out. I'm just honestly not very optimistic about it. But I did get the photos for the bottle. Which
Can you give a quick preview pose for how he was standing? In the pose, maybe like kissing his fingers, like maybe.
Yeah, we got that. So we got this great face thumbs up, some of those, and definitely got some of those. Several of those. I'm like when he's doing that little motion. So I think I got my bases covered. And we're gonna add a little photoshopping to the thing. We're not gonna have him just standing in his kitchen. Maybe I'll have him in like the Juilliard Institute of Culinary Technology or something in the background. Or some bullshit.
Done him in front of a clean wall, right, to make it easier to like. He's in front of kitchen cabinets and stuff. I guess you get what you get.
That would have been a better idea.
Be, those like blocky Photoshop cutouts where it's like his shoulder, like there's part of a cabinet in it, and it doesn't look natural. He's standing on the lawn, and there's like chefs around him sautéing raspberries and scones, and it's just him there kissing his fingers with a salty vinegar sauce. Oh, that's great.
I'll do whatever it takes to make sure it does look clean and correct, even no matter what that takes. But yeah, I got to see Wings. Hadn't seen him in a while. It was good to see him. We talked a lot of politics. He's a Sanders supporter.
Still,
this was this was before this past Tuesday when Hillary won everything, all 5 states. I think it was. So he was. Yeah, a Sanders supporter. And so we talked a lot about Sanders and Trump. And, I think we mostly agreed for the most part about the good things about Sanders and the bad things about Sanders and the good things about Trump and the bad things about Trump. And we both agreed that Hillary was just not a solution to anything. So I had a good time hanging out with Wings. I think I'm kind of looking forward to him coming and staying for a week. I think we'll come up with some activities this time that don't revolve around weight loss for sure. Just have some fun.
It's awesome.
Is Chiz's camera on?
Yeah. No.
See, it was on.
Chiz, you fuck.
It was on. It was covered. He's sitting in the complete darkness with his camera on, but there was like hints of light. Like it wasn't pure black.
It was like It was like
Poltergeist,
something. Like a Poltergeist TV screen is what we were seeing. Yeah, and then just like, did you ever get called out when you were little and your parents were talking on the phone on your landline, obviously, and you'd pick up and you'd be listening to what they were saying, and then you hear them be like, "Hey, Taylor, are you on the line?" And they're just like, "Oh!" You hang up real quick. That's what he did. He got called out and didn't even say "my bad." He just turned off real quick and hoped nobody noticed.
Oh God! Speaking of great lungs, you sent me that link earlier from that Huffing subreddit. There's a subreddit. There's a subreddit dedicated to people who huff shit, and the guy was showing that he was like, basically they post pictures of like weird shit they've been huffing, and he's like, "Yo, bros, you tried this yet?" And it'll be like PVC pipe glue, and I'm like,
yeah, that does smell good. Actually, every time I've ever done any PVC work, I'm like, man, that smells nice. Then some guy will have like acetone for auto paint or something like that, some sort of paint thinner stuff. Taylor posts one, and the guy has Black Widow Killer, and he's like, "Yo, 12 hits of this, and you see the doo-doo man."
Yeah, it's all misspelled, but it says every time 11, and it's a picture of Taro Spider Killer, that big orange can. And it
Do
goes,
not do this, people.
every time 11 huffs fine, 12 huffs poop man come. And then it didn't write anymore after that. I guess the poop man came. And did you scroll to the other picture, Kyle?
No.
There's a picture of what he's huffing, and then you hit the right arrow, and it's a picture of a poop-stained mattress. And so this guy is clearly huffing so much Spider Killer that he's shitting himself. He's like an alcoholic waking up the next morning and being like, oh, why do you always take that 12th puff? Like,
it's kind of like that one. It's like after 2,500 milligrams, the Hat Man does not respect gender pronouns.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hat Man, he's the Benadryl.
Robitussin.
Yeah, Benadryl. Yeah.
Oh,
remember?
okay.
Yeah, Robitussin is a real drug that people use if they can't get Tussinex. Or I guess Robitussin is not the real drug version of Tussinex, right?
Used to be, maybe, I think.
I was talking to a friend of mine, like, who was way too deep into codeine and Tussinex and that shit in like his early mid-20s. We were just having a game night the other night, and he was talking. He's like, oh yeah, it got bad. And there were times, you know, I would go in and I'd go to my local clinic and I would say, I had the whole thing rehearsed. I'd say, I have dark green phlegm. I've been coughing so much my throat hurts. And then when the nurse would say, are you allergic to anything? I'd very casually go, oh yeah, my main doctor said I can't have something called codeine. And if you can't give them codeine, that means they have to get Tussinex. And he's like, and it was great, dude. We had a great thing rolling for a while. I'd go and I'd get this giant bottle of Tussinex, and then I'd bounce around to different clinics like a couple times a week. And then eventually he got banned from one of the clinics because they realized, like, this dude isn't fucking sick. There's no way you have the flu again, sir, for the 11th time in 2 months.
So Tussinex, that's the stuff that lets you see the...
Tussinex is like Robitussin, but it has no acetaminophen in it, I believe. And so it's like it's like Vicodin. I think it's liquid Vicodin, and that's an opiate. An opiate. Yeah. So it's like instead of taking the pills, you're getting the liquid. And I don't know much about this class of drugs. The way he explained it to me was that like a tiny sip of that, so like 5 milliliters or something of that Tussinex, was equivalent to a much larger amount of actual Vicodin pills. And so he and a couple guys I knew would bounce around.
Okay, it's something else. I think what it is he was probably telling me he was allergic to acetaminophen, and they were giving him so he could
that must be what it is. Yeah,
because codeine is the best drug. Like it, I understand. It's so good. It makes you a little itchy, but you get used to that.
I think I'm not having a typical experience. It makes me like get like a throbbing kind of headachy type thing. And as you know, I get into it all the time. Yeah, it's the worst. And I get off it as fast as possible. I prefer pain.
You might be like me because I'm allergic to a lot of painkillers. Like I have a bad reaction every time. Like I just get like headaches. I get nauseous. Like a bunch of stuff.
Weird. A good thing to be allergic to. Those things are dangerous.
Is it? What if you're ever burnt?
They'll just give you.
What if an RPG explodes on you and you're like, no, not the good stuff. I'm allergic.
I'm allergic.
Give me something non-habit forming. Give me something fourth degree burns. That marrow is cooked.
It's like fucking Two-Face. Fuck me up.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's worth being a bit itchy if that's the alternative. I'm scrolling through this huffing community top all time, and it's so funny. Like, I know some of these people are trolling, obviously. The same thing with the gang stalking. But that tarot thing, the poop man come, that was the top all-time post there. The second one is just the guy who says psych ward, and he's in a psych ward.
Why do they give him a phone in the psych ward?
Dude, dude, mugshots of paint huffers.
Those are fun. Can you roll some of those up, Zach? Just find us some good paint huffing mugshots, because they genuinely are hilarious. I remember a Cops episode, and the cops roll up, and there's this guy with spray paint all over his face, and he's limping, and they're like, "What happened, Otis?" He's like, "Goddamn kids threw me off the bridge again."
These kids came along and found this poor old homeless man so out of his mind on paint he couldn't resist, and they tossed him off a small bridge.
What? I'm a
Looks like
Warriors fan.
He's ready to steal Christmas.
He does. Dude, that's fucking Temu.com, Jim Carrey.
Oh, witness me. I like this guy.
What color would you be? What color would you get, Taylor?
What the closest to my beard color?
Oh, I bet you could huff real good. I feel like a beard would allow you to like keep some residual. Yeah, you might get overdosed quickly.
Flavor
the black eye almost like you almost can't tell. You know,
dude,
what I mean?
that guy's
joke.
He's like, give me hickory brown. Do y'all have Krylon hickory brown?
Is there something about metallic paints that makes it better? Everyone's choosing them.
I think it's just because the people that did it with the beard and they did a natural color didn't get caught.
That's exactly it. That's
true.
It's that the people who are stupid and awful enough to huff gold sparkle paint are also very much likely to get arrested while huffing gold sparkle paint.
And you know what else?
Don't do that to the president.
I bet genuinely that price is an object to these people. And so they're probably getting the cheapest spray stuff they can. So like maybe house color or like wall color is less or more expensive than gold.
I choose to believe they go to
Let
Home
him
Depot.
up some paint. Jesus.
They go to Home Depot, huff right in the aisles, and try to walk out unnoticed.
I'm sorry.
You can't prove anything.
Wait, excuse me. Where is plumbing? Like,
they genuinely do that all the time. Mitty, my friend that worked store security for a while, they'd catch a guy and there'd be like 3 or 4 empty cans at his feet, and he'd be trying to kill the 5th. Or that there was one guy that like hid in the bathroom overnight, like stood on the toilet so they didn't notice, and they found him in the morning, passed out in a pile of keyboard dusters. By the way,
that's what Steve-O used to do. Yeah,
keyboard dusters have this additive in them, as I'm sure many products do, that tastes so horrific. Like there's no high worth that. There's no high worth. You know how if you lick deodorant accidentally, how that weird thing it does to your tongue? It's like that plus the bad part of a pecan, and it won't go away. Yeah, it's terrible.
I've told before. I went to high school with guys. 4 of them got a job working at the grocery store after school, solely to do the whippets. It's when what is it? It's not Cool Whip. What is the Ready Whip? The can one.
Well, Whippet is a brand. There's 2 brands.
Oh, Whippet is a brand?
Yeah.
I think that's what they called getting the air out of a Ready Whip.
Sure. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So. Nitrous oxide in general. What do you call it when you've got like the canisters and stuff? Whippets. Yeah, it's the same thing. You call it the same shit.
Or
right?
nitrous oxide.
It's all nitrous
oxide. You can go.
Right?
Yeah, I've never done it, but I've seen degenerates on my cop videos, and I've seen, of course, on Amazon. You can go right on Amazon and buy like a Whippet kit. You can buy like all the canisters and like this dosing machine. You like put the canister in and like balloons up with it, or you can like shoot it straight from the machine or whatever. I saw this lady get pulled over. Her whole floorboard was full of CO2 cartridges, and it's like, oh, not CO2, but nitrous oxide, I guess. It's like, what are you doing tonight, ma'am? And they're just like picking dozens and dozens of them. They drive around and do whippets.
Well, you can't do it just sitting still.
Yeah, they're trying to have a good time.
I think it might have been this show. You were talking about it. I can't remember. It was either here or Steve-O. It was one of the two. But they were talking about how on Amazon, like they know exactly what the fuck you're doing because the increments they sell them in, like 1, 4, 24, or like 948 or some shit like that. Like, we know what you're after.
Yeah, I think we did go through the Amazon listing for that, and that there were people in the comments like leaving. Not so
Best
well coded
desserts ever. You forget the whole day.
Totally delicious. I got a hangover, or like just stuff that doesn't make sense.
My kids don't talk to me.
Yeah, I hate myself.
Is it a bad drug? Because
4 stars.
I've done it.
What I'm wondering though is it a drug that you would associate with like bad people? Because like drugs definitely have that, right? Like you think when you think of the typical user of insert drug, like. Is that guy an ass? Oh, meth. I think of a white guy every time. He's missing some teeth. His hair's greasy. He's way too skinny.
This is good. Continue with your meth stereotype, and I'm going to do some rapid fire drugs. You're going to fill me in.
Yeah, I don't think I want to play this game anymore.
Yes, you did.
I associate
Crack.
nitrous oxide with hippies. That said, when
I
did it,
associate nitrous as like a party thing for
Grateful
younger
Dead?
people.
Steve Miller concert. Yeah, there was a guy there with you know what those like. If you were to buy like acetylene, the things, this was like neck high, a good 4 or 5 feet tall canister of nitrous oxide. And he was just selling balloons full of it.
I bet you could turn that around and make so much money. I bet
he did. Yeah.
I bet that giant tank costs a few $100s, and he's probably selling thousands of dollars worth of balloons. How illegal is that? That's another one of those. I saw a YouTube video the other day, and the whole premise was these are all I tried all those legal drugs you've heard about, and he's like chewing beetle bark. He's taking salvia. He's taking all sorts of different drugs. He did red cap mushroom tea, and it just. I knew those drugs were legal, but I didn't think that they were.
Are they any good?
Yeah, that's what the video was about. Varying degrees of either like
what
really
was the
good
most
or...
tempting one?
I didn't watch the whole video, but I watched the red cap tea part where he was, by the way, red cap mushrooms are deadly in the right quantity, but he was eating the right quantity and making a tea of it. And he seemed like he was super like relaxed. He compared it to
almost dying,
like Xanax. He said it was like a few Xanax. He said he was like really chilled out and it helped with sleep. He said.
Speaking of nitrous, and out of nowhere, we mentioned Milo on PKN, and then he came out and because he used to work with Kanye West, and he was saying that Kanye has a nitrous addiction that's being fueled by his dentist. Says that
I did see that picture of Kanye. He's got like the thing on his nose with like double hoses coming out of either side. He looked like the villain from Mad Max Fury Road. He looked like a Morton Joe. His nitrous.
Yeah, he does. Find a picture of that. Yeah, this is what Kanye or Milo said about Kanye, and it's next to this picture of Immortum Joe. There's a reason Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is no longer capable of successfully releasing music or clothing. In fact, there are several reasons, but the most serious and the most recent is his dentist, Thomas Connolly. Connolly got Ye hooked on nitrous laughing gas. It is my belief that Connolly sought to diminish Ye's mental faculties so that Connolly and his business associates could extract millions of dollars from him. Earlier this year, I uncovered the fraud and intervened. Ye, hooked on nitrous, blew up our relationship on purpose by proposing something that he knew I'd have to resign over because I told him so. The resurrection of his longtime idle fantasy of making pornography. Thomas Connolly is a dangerous predator who targets African-American celebrities into whose mouth he puts fake diamonds, as I suspect he did to Lil Yachty. He must be stopped. I filed a complaint with the California Dental Board, the highest board, last week to that end. Yeah, the California Dentist Board has assured me that they've investigated themselves and they've found no wrongdoing.
I'm looking at that.
Zach, will you add that to our shop real quick? Give us one of those with the mask.
BPAP users catching strays over here.
Oh.
This isn't cool.
Yeah, everyone's making fun. You're like, well, I need it to breathe. I'm not doing drugs.
What are the odds we're thinking that this is real?
100%.
Well, it is Milo, so you don't know.
I saw the picture of Kanye with the mask. I saw a different picture than the one Zach showed that you could see the mask.
Oh, I was meaning about the whole like sinister dentist and all that. Like,
oh, of course. Well, of course he does. Like, where else would he? Yeah, that makes sense. No, I believe all of that.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he
Kanye West. Look, that is a picture of him.
There's no way. That's a white eye underneath there. That's a woman. Or he has the most svelte shoulders I've ever seen on a man. Look at the normal
Kanye,
man behind.
Why would they have that picture there if that weren't Kanye?
Maybe that's the dentist.
All right, if that's the dentist, he's a fucking supervillain.
Yeah, if that's the dentist, I believe everything. Like, I think he's doing a lot more than what Milo's letting on. If that's the dentist, but yeah, I guess.
No, I believe that 100%. Why not?
Yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos wouldn't just.
Why wouldn't that be true
on the internet?
He wouldn't just make things up online. But I don't know. Kanye, he's gone out there a few times. We've had someone reveal their power level this past week. And
Kyle's coming out of the closet, you might say.
It has been great. I love it.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I don't make God of Thunder or anything, but yeah, definitely upped the anime power level a little bit, as Chocolate Thunder put it earlier. So yeah, it's been a long, arduous process, and I know you two have been wanting to talk about it forever. So
forever. This is for people who don't know. This has been a secret with us for so long. Where like there were times where like on my Twitch stream, people would be like, haha, fucking pile, piece of shit, just big pile of blubber and pork. And I just have to sit there and be like, he sure is fat, isn't he? Meanwhile, he had just sent me a picture like, starting to see abs, bro. Like
taking it on the chin for 6 months now for sending shirtless pictures to our WhatsApp chat. Meanwhile, it is a back and forth conversation, and I'm telling nobody. They're all like, what a fucking weirdo old man sending pictures to guys who clearly don't want it. It's like, you assholes have no idea.
Oh, I'm sending dick root all day, every day. Every time I get back from the gym and get out of the shower, I'm just like, check out the dick root, boys. It's vascular.
That's what I was curious
It
about.
was.
Is like people, like they would be like, so Kyle and Woody, they're sending like shirtless pictures, and nobody knew Kyle was working out. And so I was like, do people really think like Kyle's just like getting fatter, boy? Like what would be his purpose in sending us photos if he wasn't working?
To motivate Woody.
Yeah.
I am looking pretty
Look what
good.
could happen.
Look what could happen.
Like, we're also excited about this. Clearly, Derek, thank you so much for coming on. You facilitated this entire
Derek's
transformation.
I can't praise Derek enough. He's definitely been like I guess coach, mentor throughout this whole thing. He's really kept me going throughout it. And Derek's a hard laugh. You know what I mean? You know, when somebody's a hard laugh, you really got to come up with a good joke to get a laugh out of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you send Derek a picture and you're like, what do you think, man? He was like, all right, we're doing okay. I'm just like, fuck, I really thought I'd get something that time. But you've really got to like get in the gym and make something happen for Derek's like, all right, I see what you're doing now. So like when you get that out of Derek, it feels really good.
No, some of your photos, I thought I was like, dude, your head looks photoshopped onto the spot.
It's Kyle saying that. I'm like, yeah, I watched him do a natty or not on Superman in the film, and he's like, he's just fat. I don't know what. Look at this piece of shit. Why would they cast him? I'm paraphrasing.
I was watching the video you did on Kyle on your channel this afternoon, and like you would bring the picture up, and you brought one up where I'm like, man, he's starting to look jacked there, looking big. And your comment was like, now he looks okay. Now this is nothing that you would notice in public. And it's like, no, this is nothing that you would notice in public because you have no periphery over the delts. That's how you take Derek down from behind.
The mind warped perception in the fitness industry is next level. Like, you see a guy who's easily a top 0.01% physique, and you're comparing it to some genetic like hyper elite outlier. Your brain's just so fried that you're like, oh, visible abs. I see that every day on Instagram or whatever. And then you don't realize that how many guys in your gym even have any size on their frame at all, plus abs simultaneously, like zero.
Yeah, it's almost zero. Like the guys that I work out with, because I go to the same like time slot every night. Most of them are like older than me, but they're all like really big guys. Like they all lift heavy. But none of them are like lean. Like nobody is like dick skin lean at all in there. Like nobody has abs. There's a different group of guys that are like high school athletes or college athletes or something. You could tell they're coming in and kind of horsing around, like getting like their second workout of the day in. And those guys have abs, but those guys aren't that big. And so there's just not that many guys who are both big and lean. It's super rare.
Yeah, the transformation was wild, dude. Like, as much as you guys are saying I wasn't impressed, like I thought I did a pretty good job of showing like my enthusiasm about the whole process. And I thought it was
absolutely, yeah.
I thought it was fucking incredible, dude. So I was very happy with the outcome, and like more than anything, I was glad you got to see like what you're capable of, because I imagine you had no conception at the start of this that you could you exceeded Rob McElhenney body fat percentage easily.
Yeah.
You make Mac look like a bitch.
That was the goal. That was the whole goal. Like from the beginning was to do the fat Mac, and I would guesstimate his body fat percentage like at his leanest when he's like on TV in that episode to be like 10, something like that. And we hit 8.4 at the end. We hit 8.4, and I was super stoked. I was super stoked to hit 8.4 because I had no idea. I think I had skipped a DEXA scan. I had been getting them monthly, but like the previous DEXA scan, I think I was like low, like 12%, something like that, 13%, like very visible abs, like my forearms were just like road maps, but I didn't think I was in single digits. And then like when we got in there on May 4th or whatever it was to the DEXA, she was like, what do you think you are? I'm like, maybe 10%. She's like, oh no, honey, you're about 3 points away from the bodybuilders that come in here like show ready, and because they'll get down to like 5.5% or something like that. And 8.4%.
Does your current water impact your body fat percent measurement?
Yeah, like the fat-free mass thing is going to be heavily altered by your like water retention and whatnot, because at the end of the day, it's just monitoring fat-free mass, which encompasses so many different things in your body other than fat, So when you're doing the DEXA, it can be, fairly off, to be honest, but at the end of the day, it's a metric to track your progress consistently, which at the end of the day, like what you look like in the mirror matters. And when you look at, Kyle at the end of the transformation, I don't think anyone would argue he wasn't easily single digits and had definitely.
Yeah, it might have been 9.5%, but I'm sticking with what the fucking DEXA said.
Yeah, like
who cares?
And what I liked was the trend, the trend where we started at 34. And like if you want to say, no, DEXAs make you leaner than you actually are, or make you seem leaner. It's like, all right, so what, I started at 37% body fat and I got down to 10.
Yeah.
You're just making me sound better than what I was saying. So because we started at 33.8, I believe roughly, and got down to 8.4. So according to them.
When you texted me, Kyle, like a year and a few months ago, being like, I'm intentionally eating Five Guys 3 times a day to get as fat as possible, and then I'm gonna do Fat Mac. Like, you're the only friend of mine that I believe was setting something like if I told that tale, I'd be like, I'm doing a 5-year plan where I just stay fat. Like, but I was like, yeah, I truly believe it. But Derek, you don't know Kyle as well as I do, but like, what was your thought when he approached you? Was it like, this guy's going to do it for a couple months and phase out? I have no confidence that he'll stick with like my full like bodybuilder plan, or how
yeah. So I had no idea about the whole Fat Mac idea. I just thought he was out of shape and wanted to get, ripped.
So I didn't want to tell Derek about that because I was afraid that I had hurt myself on like health markers, and he was going to be like, oh, this is super unhealthy what you've done. I don't think I can help someone like you. You're an idiot. I told Taylor, I told like Mitty, I think I told Chiz, I told like a couple of people in my close life.
You're not an idiot.
It's idiotic. It's incredibly idiotic. But for the bit, I had to commit. I felt like it was so goddamn funny. And just to be clear, because like somebody was like, "Why didn't you tell Woody?" I didn't tell Woody because Woody is such an honest, good-hearted man that deception does not come naturally to him, and he will just accidentally let things slip. He would never reveal a secret on purpose, but he will always reveal one on accident.
That reminds me. I did we do conspiracy theories, and I did this thing where we're all on steroids. Were you on TRT at the time I did that?
Yeah, I believe I was.
Dude, your part in that, I just found a Photoshop version of you on like a Greek god or something. You were in a chubby phase at the time.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like touch on you and change the topic. That's how I handled your aspect of it. I didn't know at the time that you were literally on TRT.
Yeah, he photoshopped me onto like a cholo gangster.
Yeah.
And like I ended up more ripped than the guy you fucking
probably
photoshopped me on. The best part. Yeah. Yeah, it was wild.
So what was the whole process like? Like, did the beginning, at any point in the beginning, Kyle, were you like, this is way harder than I thought it would be, this kind of blows? Or were you so excited?
No, man, what's hard about this is like when you're in when you have this ignorance factor about something and you don't know if the steps that you're making are the right steps, even though they're hard, right? Like you can go in the gym and bust your ass, but if you're doing it with ignorantly, like you don't know what you're actually doing, you might get home and be like super sore, but in the back of your head, you're like, did I even do the right things? Did I do too much? Did I do too little? You don't know if you've done the right thing. And it's hard to like believe in yourself that things are going to pan out. But having Derek there and having this like tried and true method with not only the diet like program, but also the workout program, right down to like, do this many reps, do this many, this much rest, et cetera, like having all of that mapped out for me and being able to just trust in that 100% gave me like so much like confidence to like just keep doing it, because I would just keep telling myself, if we just keep going down the road that he's laid out for us, we can't fail. And like forging your own path is hard. You know, I think that's the metaphor that I would use. It's the difference between like hacking your way through a jungle that you don't know what's on the other side, versus having a nice trail like cut and like following a leader.
Your Twitter question. This might be hard to answer. I don't know what you'll do with it. Where is he going with this whole thing? Is there an end goal? Is he entering competitions? So just grinder success? Like, what are we doing with the transformation?
You do know Grinder's the gay one, right? I just want to clarify.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I just want to make
it's
sure.
funnier than Tinder.
It is.
Plus,
funnier.
it doesn't. I feel like there might be people in your universe who hear Tinder.
Is this how people found out? Is the Tinder pictures getting leaked, or was it
because,
it? Okay.
Yeah, it was because the Tinder pictures got leaked. Because like I was really trying to get my YouTube passwords all sorted so that I could do some stuff on YouTube about this. And I'm hoping that we get that worked out. I just got another contact sent to me. We'll see if this guy can work on it. But all of that aside, where am I going with this? So I think I look pretty fucking good right now. Everybody in my life thinks I look pretty fucking good right now. Girls think I look good. My family thinks I look good. My friends think I look good. And I don't think this is like body dysmorphia at all. I have like different goals in mind. And I think I have a couple of goals. One of them is I want my chest to be bigger and more symmetrical. I don't know if I can do anything about this symmetry, but I can definitely make it bigger over the course of the next year. I really don't give a shit about strength. I think I maxed out like, I don't think I ever maxed out, right? Like there was that one time I sat down and did 305 for reps, but that was just because
there's no reason to risk injury.
Yeah.
Because
all the
I work
cool
out
kids
alone.
say maxing's not cool.
I work out alone and I don't have safety stops on the bench that I use. So if I throw 340 on there and fail alone, I'm going to die. You know,
and it's not like you post videos of your PRs or anything. So it's like literally for your own ego, not for anyone to see or anything. So like, what's the fucking
My gym
point?
does have a leaderboard. And the leaderboard, the heaviest bench at my gym, I think, is 365 or 375. And we're going to take that fucking number by this time next year. 100% we're taking that number.
Okay.
So like I would like to hit a 400-pound bench in my life. That is like one impressive little thing that I think would be cool. I think I could probably hit that number in another year if I went hard enough in the paint. But if I don't, it's not a huge deal. Mostly my goals are aesthetic. And I think just I don't want to walk around at 8% body fat. I think 10 or 12% is kind of ideal for like the aesthetic that I want to walk around at. I think that's low as fuck and like pretty fucking elite for the average human being walking down the street. And I think it's pretty easily maintainable for me, like because I like the diet. I really do like the vertical diet. I don't have any problem with it. Now that I can eat like a full bowl of rice again, I'm like, rice is so good. like when people were like, what was the one food you really wanted when you were cutting weight? And I'm like, a bowl of fucking rice, a full one. I wanted a full bowl of rice, not because like we were pulling calories from my carbs. So I'd still have like my ground beef. But
10 almonds and 10 grains of rice, Kyle. What are you complaining about?
Were you doing anything to make the rice tastier or just a bowl of white rice?
I like when I first started like cooking the meals that Derek laid out for me, it was like, all right, here's my spinach on this side, and here's my peppers on this side, and here's my meat, and here's my rice, and they were all like sectioned on a plate. By the end, everything is in a bowl. Everything's in a bowl mixed together. Put some salsa or some sriracha on top, and just eat it over the sink, and then like go about my day, and then do that 4 times a day. Everything just goes in a bowl and gets mixed together now.
Eat it over the sink.
It's by the end. It's such a small amount of food when you're only eating like it's 600 calories. It's like a 600 calorie meal. It's like
it's like 8 bites and you're
doing
done.
the dishes. Yeah.